This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems, in a podcast perhaps you've listened to in your dreams. But the episode you are about to hear will give the holiday movies a tear. Now, you've probably wondered where rankings come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
Woo!
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Excellent voice there, too.
Yeah.
Thank you. From one of the greatest Christmas movies ever. Just wanted to bring that up.
Home Alone.
No, we'll get to it. Mm-hmm. Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
And thank you for listening to our declaration of the greatest 80s one-hit wonder. We finally declared a winner last time of the 80s one-hit wonders, and it was a valiant battle.
Yeah, it was.
And the reactions were strong. Like, people were reacting so strongly to this. And
I feel like we got it right, don't you think? I mean, they reacted strongly, but I mean, the final two were correct.
No, seriously, high praise.
Yes.
In fact, Steve Hansen said, I guess you guys did okay.
Wait, that's what he said?
And he did like a raised eyebrow emoji.
Like, honestly, can we hope for more?
That's the high praise we get.
That's the praise we get for declaring.
Well, I guess you guys did okay.
Battling
Bacon
hours and
sale.
hours.
He's basically like 3 stars out of 5.
20 plus hours of research per episode. I guess you guys did okay.
Thanks, Steve. Hey, speaking of rankings and letting us know how we do, we have a new contest going on.
A giveaway.
This,
Ooh,
and
yes.
it's a giveaway. We shouldn't even say contest because we want to give one of you something very, very special.
A Christmas present.
Yeah, so
Christmas
Because it's
present.
our Christmas season. We're doing a couple Christmas shows.
a couple, we'll see how many.
Maybe 2.
It's your second favorite time of year.
Yay! We do love this time of year.
But we generally only do one Christmas episode. We're trying to be a little more festive. But what
This year,
we
yes.
want from you is from now until the end of the month, so December 31st.
End of the year.
Wow.
End of the
Way
year?
to make it feel epic, Joel.
Yeah.
We want your reviews on iTunes. And we know that many loyal listener actually already gave us a review, and we love you for it. So we want new reviews. We want to keep your old review, and we want a screenshot of whatever you have.
Yes,
And
so-
we want it emailed to us at baconcellepodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, so you can copy and paste your review. You can take a screenshot of it and just send it to baconcellepodcast@gmail.com before December 31st, and you will be entered to win one item from our store, whatever you want.
Any item.
It could be a car. Do we have cars on there?
Afraid not.
Do we have...
It could be a car.
It could be a car.
I was like, guys, don't say that. They
Yes,
could legally be
pick
bound.
we'll pick an iTunes reviewer at random, and then we will give them a prize.
Listener, go check out tpublic.com/baconsale, and you can see what's available there. The way it works is you go in, you choose a graphic, sort of an icon, an image, whatever it is you like. It could be us on Falcor or something that just says Baconsale or I am the listener or whatever it is you choose.
Team Kent.
And then scroll down. Probably not that. No one would choose that, but
It has been chosen.
Then, yeah, your mom
By
bought
you.
that, Kent. But
Thanks, Mom.
So you scroll down and you can see everything that it can be a product on. It includes crazy stuff.
Laptop cases.
A poster.
Do we have mugs?
We
Yes.
have mugs, we have
Okay.
pillows.
There's not just a mug. There's also a travel mug, which is actually pretty slick looking.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of
Yeah.
wanted one with the Hitchcock thing.
So yeah, leave us a review on iTunes, and you could win
Totes and pillows.
Baconsale merch.
Yeah.
Totes and pillows.
You never saw that
I
coming,
just
did
love
you?
that combo right
That was
there.
my band's name in college.
Totes and pillows. What kind of
Yeah.
music did you guys play?
We actually it was miming mostly. We mimed
that
instruments.
sounds very cozy,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Jacob?
Today, we're going to continue to usher in the Christmas holiday spirit.
Continue to with our first episode of the Christmas season.
Well, they're already into Christmas a little bit at this point because this is December something when it comes out. So 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Jacob's
something.
not involved in post-production. December 3rd. Today's December 3rd.
December
Magic of podcasting.
something. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be tiering Christmas movies.
And we know this is going to cause some strife. Because
Are you apologizing in advance for your bad choices or
okay,
what's going on here?
I just
don't
think
say
that
sorry.
People kind of coddle their Christmas movies. They hold them. They caress them. They love them.
Right.
They tell these
Yes.
movies that they're special and that they're their only favorite in the entire world when they're not.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of okay Christmas
Hey,
movies out there.
some of
and
them
that's
are good.
fine.
Some of them are good.
Some of them are good.
Yeah.
Well, which is why we go tier 1 and we pick a third. Tier 2, a little more than a third. And tier 3, those are the bad.
Exactly.
Right? Also
because
a third.
We have 31 Christmas movies that
We
we're
went
picking
big on this one. We know there are probably 60, but we went 31 really well-known
31.
Christmas
from.
movies.
We had to whittle it down
Honestly,
somehow.
one for every day
31.
of December is too many.
We
but
love prime numbers
here we
here
are.
on Baconsale.
Yes.
It's a prime
So
number.
we have,
Is it
Yes.
a prime number?
Yes, it is.
Unless I give every one of them a tier 1 or Kent gives every one of them a tier 3.
Almost did.
We had to force ourselves into groups. So we are giving ourselves, we have to give 10 tier 1s,
Yeah.
11 tier 2s, and 10 tier 3s.
Exactly.
So if I have to push one out of tier 1, and it's because I'm sad. I'm sad if I do it because I don't want to offend.
I couldn't even feel tier 1. Seriously. I was
That
like,
seems more likely, honestly.
I was like, really?
and that seems more like the problem you'd have, Joel, after that description and
Yeah, you're the
caveat
one that
you
seemed
just
like you
gave.
hate Christmas.
You're like,
No,
and you
oh,
hate Santa.
no,
all
problem is
but
like-
one Christmas movie is
No,
terrible.
I'm not generalizing all Christmas movies. I'm saying everyone has that one that they call it. They're like, this is the one we watch growing up every year. And I'm like, that is not a Christmas movie. That is Monster Squad. And
No,
they're like,
you're-
but we
you're-
watched it every Christmas.
You're thinking of the Grinch, I think. is what
Got
you're
him in the
thinking.
nards.
It's so Christmassy. But that's the
That's a
problem
quote.
is that if I even say that one is a tier 2 and someone's like, that's my tier 1 Christmas movie, I will get stabbed.
No, there's going to be plenty where we
I'm
say
not-
it's tier 3 and they're going to love it.
I'm not going to lie to you. There's one of these that was a tier 3, and I got so worried about what people would say. I gave it a tier 2.
Let's be
just
honest.
based on that.
You guys
worry
don't care what
and
people
pressure.
say.
I do.
I don't
He
know.
doesn't.
I do not.
I think Jacob's in the same boat as Kent, though. I think Jacob's in the all Christmas movies are crap category.
I think we're
No, I have a soft spot for a lot of
daring
Christmas
to be the
movies.
villain on this one.
because you were just saying, I don't think there's a lot of tier 1s out there. There are a ton. I wish I could give at least 20 tier
Let's
1s.
move on, shall we?
Let's move on. Let's get started.
Let's get this started.
All right, Jacob. What is our first movie we are going to tier today?
While you
Tier
were
1
s-
being the highest, tier 2 being the middle, tier 3 being the lowest.
Yes. While You Were Sleeping from 1995.
What year was this made? Oh, 1995.
I'm glad Kent is paying attention.
A hopeless romantic Chicago Transit Authority token collector, wow, is mistaken for the fiance of a coma patient.
This was directed by John Turtletab, who did Cool Runnings, Phenomenon, and The Meg, and stars Sandra Bullock, Bill Pullman, and Peter Gallagher, and Peter Boyle. Wow,
Yeah.
so many good people in
A
here.
lot of Peters.
So this is, we can't take too much on this because we have so
No.
many to get through.
Yep, move it fast.
But I still want to give this its due because I feel like this movie is one of those, you don't think of it as a Christmas movie, and then you watch it, you're like, oh, it is a Christmas movie.
Because it's just, is it around Christmas? Like, I haven't seen it for like 15 years.
it runs from Christmas Day, because she has to work on Christmas Day.
That's it.
To New Year's. That's about the time length of this. So it's like the holiday season.
Actually, the film wasn't originally intended to be a Christmas movie.
No.
The studio just knew it would be easy to sell.
Well, also, it originally was a man
Yes.
who was wanting to marry a woman in a coma.
Why wouldn't they put a man waiting over a woman with a coma?
Because they thought it was predatory.
Yeah.
So they changed it.
And there's a Disney movie about that.
But
Is it still predatory?
Yeah, probably more than ever.
It is.
Yes.
But this one, this is a tier 1. It's an easy tier 1 for me because I love this movie so much. I love the conversations between the characters. They have that fantastic dinner scene where they're all having like 6 conversations at the same time.
It's really comical. Yeah.
And I'm the paper boy. The paper boy is one of the best moments in film, and it wasn't even planned.
I don't even remember what you're talking
So
about.
This paper boy's riding towards the camera, and he flings a paper, and then he just biffs on his bike, and it's just this random scene in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Is this
And-
a tier 1 rom-com for you then too?
Yes.
Okay, it's a tier 2 for me. I think it's a
Heartless fool.
No, it's a good. DC, you're holding on too tight, aren't you? It's a good movie. It's
I know,
a fun
you're the
movie.
person you're
Dare to
already
be the villain.
describing.
The writing's good, but it's like I'm kind of judging on quality of movie for half, and also is it actually a Christmas movie for the other half? And for this one, I
They're
don't.
pulling a tree up into the window.
Yeah, I guess, but it's for like how much I like it. It's a tier 2. Sorry, see. Look at the eye. The eyes he's giving me right now.
It's a tier 2 movie, though, Joel.
It's
Yeah.
a tier 1 movie.
Really?
He's saying it's tier 2 if it's Christmas.
Tier 2 for
No,
movie and Christmas.
You're saying tier 2
Oh,
overall.
you're
Yeah.
Yes.
No, this is
Yeah.
a tier 1 movie.
You're just in love with Sandra Bullock.
Who isn't in this movie?
honestly back then. This
She's
one in the
adorable.
net. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
adorable.
The net? Yeah.
Loved her in the net.
All right, moving along. We got to love these.
All right. Ernest Saves Christmas. Kent, it's from 1988.
Oh, thank you for telling me. Ernest helps Santa Claus as he searches for his successor. All right, so Ernest Saves Christmas. There are 9 Ernest movies altogether.
And we watched them all tonight.
I've watched 4 of them.
You love Ernest though.
No, I don't love Ernest. I'm like, I love Ernest Goes to Camp. I love Ernest Goes to Jail. I love Ernest Scared Stupid. I don't love Ernest Goes to Jail. I like Ernest Goes to Jail.
Do you?
Same for the Ernest Show.
Thanks for clarifying.
It's Scared Stupid and
Yeah,
and
we're
Saves
not-
Christmas.
Did you ever see Fred, that YouTube series with the really annoying kid?
yes.
This
No.
was Fred back in the late 80s.
No.
Honestly.
Jim Varney's comedy is much better than Fred's.
He is, but still it's this really slapstick character that I'm not sure how he got 9 movies. It's
Yeah.
kind of it's a farce, and I'm not sure why if there was a fan base for it.
It's probably just so cheap to make.
Yeah.
You know?
So this had a budget of $6 million. It made $28 million.
Exactly. That's why they got sequels.
Right.
Because it was so cheap. And it's got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes with 13 reviews.
Oh, only that many people really reviewed it?
I can't believe that many people saw it.
I watched this one a lot as a kid.
I would say it's the best of the Ernest movies.
I like
What did you like more?
I like Goes to Camp and Scared Stupid.
Oh, really?
A lot, too. Okay, Cam, what are you giving this one?
Tier 3.
This is a stupid movie.
This is a
It's
tier
really
1 for you,
stupid.
probably.
This is a stupid movie.
Are they all tier 1s, Joel?
I watched it fairly recently. It was much better when I was a kid, but I got to give it a tier 2 because the nostalgia is still there for me.
And the slapstick when you're a kid, it is hilarious. It just
Air
does
brakes.
not hold up.
It's
And are
pretty-
there aliens attacking Christmas? But they're really... we don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't want to spoil Ernest movies. But tier 2, tier 3. We haven't agreed yet.
No, that's good.
Because you're a jerk.
Are you guys ready for the next one? This is one that does not need much discussion. Let me just clarify that from the beginning. It is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh,
Probably in October.
Well, I love that this is on here. I love that I opened the whole episode with the quote from this Christmas movie.
We had the biggest fight before we even put this movie on the list because it's a Halloween movie.
Yeah. Joel's eye's still black.
But Joel's agreement was, hey, if we put it on the Christmas list, we'll put it on the Halloween movie list because clearly it's a Halloween movie.
Back on episode 36.
Oh, no
the
way.
fight before Christmas. We discussed whether this was a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie.
And that's an eternal fight that's gone on.
It has. It keeps going. And,
Yes.
But this movie is absolutely wonderful. Like, to be honest, I didn't like it the first time I watched it.
Right.
I thought it was going to be scarier. I wanted a scary movie. And then I was like, this isn't scary. This is a Christmas movie. And then as I babysat this girl and she wanted to watch it all the time. And so I'd watch it like every time I sat.
And you were brainwashed.
And all of a sudden I'm like, this is kind of catchy tunes.
It was weird when he dyed his hair black and got frosted
was.
tips.
It was.
Yeah.
I miss those days, honestly.
Dyed my eyes black.
Yes.
Jack Skellington. This, obviously, we've talked a lot about it before, so we don't need to talk about it too much here. Did you already read the synopsis?
Well, everyone knows. Jack Skellington, king of Halloween Town, discovers Christmas Town, but his attempts to bring Christmas to his home causes confusion.
One reference to Halloween, 2 references to Christmas. This is actually not directed by Tim Burton, as many people suspect.
Henry Selick.
Henry Selick directed it, who did Coraline, James and the Giant Peach, and Monkey Bone. And one of the things I always find funny, and I love to bring this up, is that the voice of Jack Skellington
Chris Sarandon.
is Prince Humperdinck. Prince Humperdinck
Isn't
from
that crazy?
Princess Bride.
Really?
Also the vampire from Fright Night, the original.
But
Okay.
Chris Sarandon, but then every time he sings, it's Danny Elfman. And they actually got Chris Sarandon because his voice matched Danny Elfman's.
Yes.
So yeah, there's tons to say about this. I don't want to get
We've
into
said
it
so
all.
much. But let me just say one more thing. Henry Selick, who directs it, says, it's a Halloween movie. This is a movie.
What did the inventor of the GIF call it?
This is a movie about Halloween and the people of Halloween and how they react to something like Christmas.
I want to bring up something too, and it's the fact that
I like how we continue.
All right,
this
is
battle.
the last one, Joel.
Okay, last
you
one.
Get this,
No, this
you
is-
get this comment, and we're moving on.
this isn't even an argument in that because there's no argument. to make.
Have you guys had your tier yet?
No.
No, we're
Okay.
about to. But it's funny because I wanted to read a quote from Henry Selick as well, but he said, I don't want to take away from Tim, but he was not in San Francisco when we made it. He came up 5 times over 2 years and spent no more than 8 or 10 days in total.
Yeah.
So Henry Selick really did kind of take this on. It was based on a poem that
in
Tim Burton
art
wrote. Yeah,
that
an
Tim
art
Burton
that he
made.
wrote, but
Yes.
this is actually, Henry Selick directed it. This is his baby, and it's a tier 1. Easy.
It's a tier 2.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a tier 2.
You're calling this a tier 2
Look,
movie?
here's the thing. This is
I guess I know who loves this movie more.
This is a tier 1 movie, but it's a tier 3 Christmas movie. So we're going to go in the balance, and it's a tier 2.
Let the record
on this
show,
list.
Ken just called Night Before Christmas a tier 2 movie.
I'm calling it a tier 2 on the Christmas list because if I ever say
I can accept Christmas movie.
if I ever say that
why
this
not
movie,
tier 3 Christmas movie?
if I say this is a tier 1 Christmas movie, I will never live it down. So I will not say that.
You did put it on this list for this Christmas episode.
I did not put it on this list. I fought tooth and nail.
All right, next up, let's help you guys make up a little bit by talking about Love Actually from 2003.
Follows the lives of 8 very different couples in dealing with their love lives in various loosely interrelated tales, all set during a frantic month before Christmas in London, England.
Directed by Richard Curtis, who did About Time and 4 Weddings and a Funeral, starring everyone.
Yes.
Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson, Hugh Grant, Keira Knightley, Liam Neeson, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Andrew Lincoln before he went full Coral. He has a British accent in here. It's
Well,
actually
he's
kind of bizarre.
British.
He's British. But it's bizarre.
That would make sense.
Like, I remember when they cast him as Walking Dead.
Yeah.
In The Walking Dead as Rick Grimes.
You're like, it's a stalker.
I was like, that's Andrew Lincoln. That's the dude from Love Actually. And he didn't sound anything like that.
Right.
This movie was made on a budget of $40 million and made $246 million.
Did they spend that all on the cast? Because that's a great cast.
It's a huge cast. I was also surprised that this only has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes with 100
No way.
Isn't that weird?
Do you know what I kind of love about Richard Curtis, the director, is he makes movies and they're out in the UK for a couple months and they come here and they're still a little bit smaller, but the cult fan base that just loves these, they're so charming, even when they're a little bit dirty. even when they're crass.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They're always.
But
I'll get to that.
Oh, then that's in this movie for sure. But they're so charming that this movie, for me, it's an easy play. This is a tier 1 movie.
Well, this one, I will also agree it's a tier 1 movie, but I'll put the caveat on there.
Oh, you guys are agreeing.
We are. But this is a tier 1 movie for me when edited. Because that's how I saw
There's
this one.
a story here that's a little
there's two stories. There were 2 stories cut out completely from my edited version. I didn't know they existed until I saw it on TV, and I'm like, what?
They cut out characters?
The whole storylines are gone.
Wow.
Wait, you didn't see the guy who traveled to the U.S. and Denise Richards was there?
Colin's story's gone, and John and Judy's
which makes
story's
sense.
gone. Yeah.
Kent, you should just make up extra stories now.
So actually, the guy who plays, what's the guy who goes to the U.S.?
Colin.
He was with like so many attractive women in this scene that for his entire work for that scene with three girls, he did not take any pay. He said, I will do this for free.
Yeah.
That's probably how they only spent $40 million.
Yeah. No, and that's just it. So it's 10 different stories.
Yes.
Or 8 different stories. I don't remember. But there's a bunch of stories, but it's funny how even with those 2 cut out, it was still this full rounded movie that was so well done.
And it's emotional. You buy into it, even though like these subplots are given so little time, you care.
Well, because it shows all the different aspects.
I know,
of
here
love.
we are.
Yeah.
We're just
this is
gushing
one I
over
think
it.
we need a little more because we agreed on it. But it shows all the different aspects of love, from young love, like young puppy love in school, to an older marriage where it has faded between friends, and best of all, it has a real Portuguese actress speaking real Portuguese, and it makes me happy every time I hear it.
Oh, look at you.
My wife and I watch this every single Christmas Eve.
As you should.
Every single Christmas Eve we watch this movie.
Fun
Tier
fact,
1.
Keira Knightley.
Unedited?
Keira Knightley?
No.
Yeah. Keira Knightley is only 5 years older than the kid who Liam Neeson's son in this movie. Only 5 years older in real life. Yes. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's weird. He's a little boy.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we're going back, way back in time. The Miracle on 34th Street from 1947.
Now, we chose to include this one, the 1947 one, instead of the 1994 remake. Because
With Dylan McDermott Mulroney.
and Mara Wilson.
Yes.
But we chose this one because we felt it was more, it made the cut. The other one didn't.
It's the classic. When a nice old man who claims to be Santa Claus is institutionalized as insane, a young lawyer decides to defend him by arguing in court that he is the real thing.
And I want to bring up that it stars Edmund Gwenn,
Yes.
because the whole time we were doing our Hitchcock challenge, every time he popped in a movie, because he was in 4 Hitchcock
yeah, he
movies,
was.
I was like, it's Santa! Like I just recognized him every time
really?
as Santa
It's
Claus.
funny you say that because Natalie Wood, who plays the young girl in the movie,
Yes.
she actually thought he was Santa Claus. While filming,
Aw.
she didn't even know that he wasn't Santa until he was at a rap party. He's like, "How's it going?" And she's like, "Why are you dressed like that?"
Santa, why are you here?
Yeah.
Why are you singing rap, Santa?
Could you imagine though, as a kid, being like, "Santa's in my movie. That's incredible."
Yeah.
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 And then to have those dreams crushed.
Yeah. This film was nominated for a Best Picture, but lost to Gentleman's Agreement.
Oh,
Curse them.
what?
I know.
This is so much better than Gentleman's Agreement.
What
also,
isn't?
But it's also a Christmas movie, and they rarely win these
Not
kind
jumping
of
the gun
awards.
too much, but It's a Wonderful Life, another movie we're going to talk about, was supposed to come out in 1947, but they bumped it up for a holiday release and be able to have it eligible for the 1946 Oscars.
Wow.
And if it would have gone to this Oscars, it probably would have won because the competition wasn't as good as it was the year before. We'll get to that.
So, Joel, what are you going to give this?
I'm going to give this a tier 1. This is one of those holiday classics that I watch, and every time I'm like, from the beginning when they're in the parade to the end when they go to the house, which, by the way, the house you can still see at 24 Derby Road, Port Washington, New York. I went and looked at a street view of it today.
Oh.
And it makes me happy every time I see this, even though the Catholic Legion of Decency gave the movie a B, saying it was morally objectionable in part because of the fact that Maureen O'Hara was playing a divorcee in the film.
Oh, my word. Really?
Indeed.
Old times. I'm giving this a tier 2, but it's a high tier 2.
No, you can't say that. You gave it a tier 2 because you hate Christmas.
No, I don't hate Christmas. I was praising this movie.
mean one, Mr. Kent.
This is a one-time watch for me, and I really appreciate it. But I'm not going to be like, I can't wait to watch the old school Miracle on 34th
You can watch
Street.
this every year and love it. It's
But
such
it's
a cute
a
movie.
great tier 2
Jacob, if you have any feedback, if you want to jump in any of these, you can.
Well, I would, except I just always agree with Kent. So
'Cause I'm
it's
tall.
It's rough.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
No, it's a one-time watch.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good, but
Was that a half-hearted, almost high five you guys just did?
Yes.
I kind of just threw
It
it.
wasn't even a wave.
It's 3/4 of a wave.
Hey, I got you.
Okay.
We'll boop next time.
Okay. Let's not.
Please. We haven't booped in a while.
All right, next up, we're going to go with A Christmas Carol 2009, also known as The Creepy Christmas Carol.
A lot of people have said that.
an animated retelling of Charles Dickens' classic novel about a Victorian-era miser taken on a journey of self-redemption, courtesy of several mysterious Christmas apparitions.
It's a Christmas Carol.
Woo!
Like, really, that was a mouthful to say. It's Charles Dickens' story.
Yes.
If you haven't heard of it,
But we have like 4 adaptations of this on here.
Yeah, and here's the difference with this one. This is probably the closest to the actual story.
You think?
Of all of these, yes.
Did you see the Muppet one?
Yeah, just
no,
tonight,
I think
actually.
it's the Muppet one. You saw it tonight?
Yeah, tonight. But this
Today.
one...
Magic of Podcasting.
But this one is the kind of the follow-up to Polar Express, which we may or may not talk about, where Robert Zemeckis was really trying to go for the CG Uncanny Valley thing.
The 3D realistic kind of CG.
Yes.
Now, we did, like, there's so many adaptations of Christmas Carol out there. We tried to limit it. I think we have 4 on here, but we didn't include them all. Just know that.
Right.
But this one, we said directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Jim Carrey as Scrooge. It's also got Gary Oldman and Colin Firth in it. It had a budget of about $200 million, and it only made about $325 million worldwide.
I'm just surprised it made that much.
I say
Pretty
only
decent.
because once again, you need to double your budget in order to be considered a success.
I saw this one in the theater, and
Did you watch it in 3D?
it
Was
did.
3D?
Yeah.
Was it better in 3D?
No, this was not a good.
It
production.
actually, I thought it was fine in 3D, meaning like the ghouls that are in this movie, like they really made them pop in 3D. Like that was the effort that was put forward.
It was definitely an improvement on Polar Express,
Totally.
which was an abomination. Basically, it looked
Playing
like
your hand, Jacob.
evil dolls there. But I don't have to worry about that though. But no, this one was an improvement, but it still lacked any touch of humanity, and it was weird and distant.
It was cold, distant. That's a good word
Yeah.
for it.
Yes.
Like my review essentially said it doesn't add anything to the story other than it puts a little bit of the scary back in it.
Yeah.
Because it's a ghost story. The Christmas Carol is a ghost story, and this one is a tier 3 for me.
See, and I actually gave it a tier 2.
What?
It's a low tier 2, but it's still a tier 2.
You can't say that.
I'm
There's no
going to.
high or low. There's tier 2.
Because I will say
get
this.
Night
I
Before
accept
Christmas
your low
a tier
tier
2
two.
movie.
I actually was creeped out by this movie, and I thought this is a very different version
Because of the
Christmas
animation?
Carol. Yeah, well, the animation, and it really emphasized the scary parts, like the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. Like it's scary,
Yeah,
and so I like that stuff,
fine.
as you'll see in the show.
Boring tier 3.
All right, next up is Scrooged from 1988.
So we're going with another dark adaptation of Charles Dickens' story.
We are.
A selfish,
Gonna
cynical
knock these
television
out.
executive is haunted by 3 spirits, bearing lessons on Christmas Eve.
Directed by Richard Donner, who did Lady Hawk, Superman, and Lethal Weapon, and starring Bill Murray and Karen Allen.
Movie critic Roger Ebert, who we may have talked about on the show,
I may have quoted him too.
said this was the worst film adaptation of A Christmas Carol he had ever seen. And remember, there are about 25.
And look what happens to him for saying that, because this is a great movie.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez. Here's the thing. There's some quirk and cleverness to this movie because it's an 80s Bill Murray movie. This was right after Ghostbusters.
No, 4 years after Ghostbusters.
Was
I'd
it?
say it's more than quirk and cleverness. It's,
So after Ghostbusters, after the fame of Ghostbusters, Bill Murray actually took a hiatus from acting because it took a toll on him.
Really?
He did a cameo in Little Shop of Horrors, but this was
And
his
like he didn't
first-
want to lead a movie.
This was his first back to power, and I think he did a great job with it.
He did.
I really like this adaptation. Like I said, you're talking about the Ghost of Christmas Past in the Scrooge or the Christmas Carol version with Jim Carrey, the Ghost of Future Christmas
Yet to Come.
Christmas Future. Yeah, he's freaky in this one.
Yes.
like when they
Yeah.
open up his robe and like all those demons are inside. That's
yeah, it scared me as a kid.
So this one is one that I really, 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 really enjoy. And I have a ton of stories about this, but I won't go into them.
Ooh, I want to know where you're going to put it.
Because here's the thing, though, is I think it's a great movie, and I think the character of Frank Cross is wonderful. The ending is a little over the top. Like, they all start singing Put Little Love in Your Heart at the end, and it's kind of like he's screaming at the camera.
It's a little improvised.
It gets a little cheesy at the end.
Bill Murray.
I know, right?
This one got pushed to tier 2.
Do that noise again?
What'd you give it?
Tier 3.
What?
Here's the thing.
You just said you like dark and scary.
Here's the thing. I was too young to watch this movie. Like my parents didn't let me watch this movie for some reason, so I didn't catch it until my
But
late.
you watched Friday the 13th just fine?
Yeah, that's a different story.
When did you watch it last?
Late. Oh, so probably 10 years ago. But I watched it in my late teens for the first time, and I didn't really catch it because I don't love the comedy of Bill Murray. And so, yeah,
What about Bobcat
That's why he
Goldthwait?
doesn't like Ghostbusters.
I do like Bobcat. Come on, get real.
Oh, you don't like his
No, he
humor,
gave
though.
Ghostbusters a tier 2 like he did Night Before Christmas.
You stop that
okay.
right now.
But I gave this one a tier 2. I wanted to give a tier 1, but it got eked out.
And for some reason, this one will always get lost in the shuffle of Christmas Carol movies for me.
Really?
Yeah, it will.
I actually have Danny Elfman's soundtrack to this movie.
And
It's
also,
one of the best Christmas soundtracks to listen to out there. It's dark and fun.
I hate Buster Poindexter. I don't like him.
he's like a barely in it. He's in the Ghost of Christmas
He's
Present.
the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Passed.
Pass. That's right. He takes him
and
back.
I don't like him.
Christmas Present, Carol Kane. She is fantastic in this role.
She's great.
She wins it over,
And
really.
she beat up Bill Murray. She actually at one point grabs his lip so hard she tore this the inside of his lip, and he had to stop filming for a while because they had to heal it up.
Oh, man.
She yanked it. So
I think this is a charming one I like to revisit. I really like this one.
I think you should watch this one.
Yeah. All right, next up, The Muppet Christmas Carol, 1992.
Geez, we're just comparing all these one after the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just knocking these out. The Muppet. Oh, this is Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol with Muppets.
Christmas Carol with
You
Muppets.
can explain the difference with the
Directed
Muppets.
by,
but
Brian
Brian
Henson,
Henson. Yes.
Jim Henson's son, who also directed Muppet Treasure Island and the Happy Time Murders.
Yeah, something happened there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Starring Michael Caine for the most part. And then Steve Whitmire was the one who replaced Jim Henson as Kermit's voice. And I remember very distinctly watching this movie and thinking, that's not Kermit.
It's a little bit strange.
It's different. And that's why I believe they put Gonzo and Rizzo in the main role so that Kermit wouldn't have
as
to talk
the
as
narrator
much.
/ Charles Dickens.
And it worked, though.
$12 million budget, made $27 million domestically, so it did fine.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is 90s, so they only really measured domestic.
I have a quote here from Michael Caine. He says, I'm going...
Michael Caine.
Caine.
Michael Caine.
I'm going to
voice.
play this... No, it's Sean Connery. I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with a Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if it is an utterly dramatic role, and there are no puppets around me. And
he did.
And Brian Henson said, yes. No, this is Jim Henson said... Oh, Brian. Yes.
Jim Henson had died in
Bang
1990.
on.
Bang on?
Bang on.
Okay.
And here's the thing. This is the least comical of the Muppet movies, I would say.
It's got a darker tone to it.
It does.
It does. And
it
even
has
the
a
Muppets-
strong, mature tone at
The
times.
Muppets are playing very serious. Miss Piggy is Mrs. Cratchit. Doesn't even go like full Miss Piggy in this movie.
Mm-mm. This actually, Jacob, you mentioned the box office not doing as well, and it's because this was facing Home Alone 2 and Aladdin. Came out on the same time, so it kind of got buried in that. Kent, what'd you give this one?
Tier 1. I just watched this one.
You're back in my good graces, Kent.
I would have given this one a tier 2 until I rewatched it, and I said, wow, actually am enjoying this entire movie.
It's really charming, isn't it?
Yes.
It really is.
It got pushed out to tier 2.
And you're so sad about it.
I am.
I like that you're giving everyone else a hard time for like treasuring these movies, and you're like,
I want to
your
give
heart's
so
getting
many
broken.
tier 1s, but this one was one that I did not catch the wave of when I was a kid.
Okay.
And it wasn't until later that I ended up watching
Yeah,
it.
I've got the nostalgia as well.
Me too.
And
yeah.
so, like, I remember we were listening to the soundtrack in the car when I was
and there's
probably
original
late
songs
teens.
in this one too.
Yeah, I was late teens when I
Yeah.
heard the soundtrack in the car we listened to on a road trip, and I was like, oh, I actually kind of like this music. And so then it grew on me, and I really do enjoy this one, but it ended up getting a tier 2 because it just got bumped out.
Is it,
Remember the
is
Ghost
it
of-
an upper tier 2, Joel?
The
Yes,
Ghost of Christmas
totally.
Present
No, you can't
is
have
so
those.
much fun though in this
one?
movie. The Ghost of Christmas Present.
Oh, yeah. Know me better, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a fun one.
All right, let's keep moving.
Sorry, everybody.
All right, gentlemen, next up is going to be the last and final Christmas Carol movie on this list. It's Mickey's Christmas Carol from 1983.
It's Mickey's Christmas Carol with animated
Yes,
characters.
Disney characters.
Yeah.
This is the one. This was my introduction to Ebenezer Scrooge.
It was the one that
every-
scared me as a
Wait,
child.
Ebenezer Scrooge or Scrooge McDuck?
Well, Scrooge McDuck. Sorry.
No, and
Scrooge
that's what I was wondering.
McDuck.
'Cause
Yes.
this could have been your first Christmas Carol experience.
In fact, it may actually have been.
Yeah, this is the one. Like, this came out in '83, so this is like when I was very young, and Kent was even younger, and Jacob
You were
was
only
barely
like
born.
16 then.
Yeah, I'm
Had two
old.
kids at that point.
No, but
Yeah.
this actually introduced the world to Scrooge McDuck because
Wasn't he in a few shorts
He was.
before
But
this?
this was the first one where it was voiced by Alan Young, who's Wilbur from Mr. Ed. But he did the Scottish brogue and became this character, and then he was Scrooge McDuck until his passing in 2016.
So this is a short movie. This is what 27 minutes roundabout. This movie was paired with the reissue of The Rescuers back in 1983, and so like it was played before the movie. Quite a longer short, but still like classic. At least classic for me.
Well, not classic for Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, who both gave it 2 thumbs down.
Heartless.
I know,
jerks.
because this is a tier 1 movie.
It's a tier 1 movie.
Nice.
This is the tier 1 of all Christmas Carol movies.
I would agree. This is the one to watch.
Did you guys
Yes.
watch this as a kid and get creeped out by Ghost of Christmas
of course.
Future?
Of
Right?
course.
Like I was like so
Oh,
scared.
Pete? When
Yeah.
Pete's like,
Yeah.
why yours, Ebenezer?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
it's
remember
creepy.
as a kid, I remember moving away from the TV screen.
Yeah, because he had a cigar.
Yeah. All right. So from one classic to another, next is going to be Jingle All the Way from 1996.
I like what you did there.
You're gross.
A father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out of them, and he must travel all around town and compete with everyone else in order to find one.
Directed by Brian Levant, who directed Beethoven, The Flintstones, and Snow Dogs, and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and Phil Hartman. Remember when Sinbad was a thing?
I miss Sinbad.
This was made on a budget of $75 million, and it made $129 million worldwide.
This story is based on the 1980 shopping frenzy over the Cabbage Patch dolls, and then it ended up with perfect timing because the Tickle Me Elmo doll came out in Christmas of '96.
So it's like right at the height of that.
Right. And so this was a thing. I mean, yes, we all talk about Black Friday shopping, but there haven't really been any major toy releases or like the fervor to get to the store like this since like the 90s, maybe 2000.
Because of online shopping. You don't get that as much. Yeah. This is a tier 3.
It's a tier 3. I don't want to waste much time.
No, I don't want to waste time on it because I remember like I was kind of enjoying it for a while, and then the ending once again just went so over the top when spoiler alert for Jingle All the Way, when he gets suddenly thrown into the parade and dressed up as Turbo Man. I was like, as a kid, I'm still watching this going, I don't buy this.
And it's funny, I am an apologist for Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies, but this one I can't. Like there's Kindergarten Cop, which I love.
But yeah, that's actually
Twins
good.
is great.
Twins is great. And then there's this one. And
Save it for the Arnold Schwarzenegger show.
Oh, I hope we have one.
Oh, there should be one.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Next is going to be Gremlins from 1984.
My wife, I want to bring this up, is that
What's her favorite Christmas movie?
Well, a couple Halloweens ago, she went, hey, can we watch Gremlins? And I said, well, it's more of a Christmas movie, but I love you, so okay.
A boy inadvertently breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolently mischievous monsters on a small town. Can I hear the gizmo sound? His song is so cute.
It's actually Howie Mandel doing the voice for that.
That makes sense.
Wow, really?
In Bobby's World?
Yeah, he does that too. This is directed by Joe Dante, who did Inner Space, The Burbs, and The Explorers, and stars Zach Gilligan, Phoebe Cates, and Howie Mandel. And this was made on a budget of $11 million and made $153 million. This did quite well at the box office.
It's kind of hard to remember that this is a Christmas movie, except for the parties involved, the decorations, and when they basically kill Santa.
My kids will listen to this show.
Well, it's like, okay, it's a guy dressed up as Santa.
Santa survived.
In fact, kids. This movie was meant to be a lot more graphic, the original one.
Oh, yeah. They had a scene. Okay, earmuffs, kids. They had a scene where they were going to have, when Billy came home, one of the gremlins was going to throw his mother's head down the stairs after their fight.
Wow.
And they were going to be eating his dog.
Yeah. They decided that might be a little over the top, so then they decided to pull it back a bit and just have a gremlin explode in the microwave and one get blown up in a blender.
Right. Even though it's still kind of a malicious movie, it's
dark.
It's dark, yeah.
And we've mentioned this before on a couple other shows, but this movie and Temple of Doom, both Steven Spielberg works, not that he directed, but he produced them, were the reason that we got the PG-13 rating, because they said, this isn't quite R, but this is not PG.
Right.
In fact, a lot of parents brought their kids to this movie because the marketing was very innocent.
Oh, yeah.
They went there, and all of a sudden there's horrible things going on the screen and a whole story about Santa Claus that kids should not hear. And... Yeah. So, but this is a tier 2 for me.
And let's hear that one more time, Kent.
Once again, because
it's a tier 1.
It got bumped out because it doesn't quite feel like a Christmas movie to me.
You're right, but they also kill a guy dressed as Santa.
Joel, do you have any tier 1s?
A dog with
Starting
lights.
to wonder.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
It's a tier 1 movie, and
they were actually going to make Gizmo turn into Stripe, but then Spielberg said, no, we need to keep Gizmo. He's the heart. We need to keep him around.
He becomes Rambo.
Yeah.
I love Gizmo so much.
To fight a war, you got to become war. And they actually used monkeys in early takes of this.
Yeah, I heard it.
They tried to put a mask of a gremlin on a monkey, and it freaked out.
Went nuts.
They went puppets.
They actually did decapitate somebody.
I wanted to give this one a tier 1. Then give it a tier 1. I can't. It got bumped out.
Ooh.
Oh, Muppets Christmas Carol deserves it too. You're just breaking hearts, Joel.
I can't.
You're a heartbreaker. All right, next up, we're going to go way back in time again to another old one. This is going to be Holiday Inn from 1942.
At an inn which is only open on holidays, a crooner and a hoofer. What?
What does it even mean?
A dancer and a singer.
A crooner and a hoofer vie for the affections of a beautiful up-and-coming performer. I want to be a hoofer when I grow up.
Thanks, Fred Astaire, for showing us how to be a hoofer.
Hoof. Starring Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire and Marjorie Reynolds.
I watched this movie for the first time just the other day.
He did. He hadn't seen it.
A lot of people haven't. What did you think, Ken?
Well, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
I actually think it's a cute movie. I liked it. The first half is quite charming, and then it totally loses it when they watch the movie and you'll see, but they delve too much into Fred Astaire trying to steal this woman again, which just happens for a second time. And I got really bored, actually. But the first half is great.
This is the movie where White Christmas, the song, came from.
For the first of 3 times.
I'm dreaming of a white...
It was written for this movie, right?
It was written for this, and then used
Berlin.
Then used in White Christmas, and also used for another movie as well. So This song was
And a lot
kind
of people love this one.
overdone. This is Bing Crosby overdid this song in many movies instead of rewriting original songs.
I'll never get tired of that song.
Here's the thing.
it's a good one.
This is a holiday movie. There is a lot of winter because they're going for
It
many
starts and
holidays.
ends at Christmas.
But it's not really Christmas really until the end. It's not in fact, there is...
No, it's not
Christmas
straight.
is
It's not a
barely-
straight Christmas.
I'll tell you what
movie, for
isn't
sure.
it. I'll tell you what isn't it.
Oh, no.
New Year's Eve, Lincoln's birthday, Valentine's Day, Washington's birthday,
No, don't
Easter,
bring it up,
Independence
Ken.
Day,
Don't do
and
it.
Thanksgiving.
Should we talk about Lincoln's birthday?
No.
We should probably prepare people that Lincoln's birthday features a quote unquote minstrel show, which includes characters in blackface.
Yes.
Which some people really have
Actually
gotten after the movie.
In the
because of it.
Parents Guide, they talk about that. And it says, while often used in the early days of film, in modern times, this is insensitive and may cause questions, anger, or confusion with children. That's in the Parents Guide.
I just imagine the kid being like, I am angry and confused by this, Mom and Dad. Why did you make me watch this movie?
In context, it's really awkward to see that.
It is actually written into the script, so it's not like they're not just doing it. Like there's actually a plot purpose.
They're trying to,
There's a reason.
disguise someone.
Yes, and so
Okay.
Also,
not that justifies
actually,
it, but
right, jumping back to the positive about this movie, I guess the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor happened during the filming, and so they bulked up the 4th of July number to be more patriotic, to kind of give that hoorah America in the middle of it. So
This is a tier 2 for me. Like, I think it's a tier 2 movie and a tier 2 Christmas-ish movie.
Joel?
tier 3.
What? It's not a tier.
It's a tier 3 movie.
It's a fine movie.
It's like Kent
It's
said, though.
cute.
It's like, okay, first of all, there's hardly any Christmas in it. I kept waiting for
It's
Christmas. I'm like, this isn't a Christmas movie. I enjoy Bing Crosby. I enjoy Fred Astaire.
Is it just because Bing Crosby's in it that gets so much love for Christmas? Because
It's
kind
because
of,
of White
crooner?
Christmas. It's because of the song White Christmas. That's why people love this movie.
Yeah.
But I love that song independently of this movie. And so I give
Is
it
it the
a tier 3.
hoofer? Do you hate the hoofer?
I hate the hoofer.
You hate the
I like
hoofer.
the crooner. I don't like the hoofer.
He's a great dancer.
I
though.
have to watch this. I watch this movie every single year. My wife loves it.
Okay.
But it is a tier 2 movie for
Yeah.
sure. Not tier 3 though, Joel. That's
3.
just insensitive.
I like how I'm being so
You're more
nice.
insensitive than Lincoln's birthday.
I'm trying to figure out if there's any one of these Jacob's going to agree with me on, because so far it's the Jacob and Kent show.
Scrooged. We agree.
Hey, finger boop.
Finger poop. Oh, nailed it.
I think you said
Context. All right, next up, Arthur Christmas 2011.
Santa's clumsy son Arthur sets out on a mission with St. Nick's father to give out a present they misplaced to a young girl in less than 2 hours.
directed by Sarah Smith and Barry Cook, who did Mulan, and starring James McAvoy, Jim Broadbent, and Bill Nighy.
We talked extensively about this in our non-Disney animated
it feels
movie
like
list.
this one's brought up
This one
before.
we brought up before. And this actually had a $100 million budget and only made 147, so it's not considered a success, although it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes with 160 reviews.
Because it's a charming movie.
Now, children, earmuffs, please, because in the Parents' Guide, one of the
What are you going to say right now?
One of the characters says, "We'll be back in the wobble of a reindeer's buttocks." So,
How many people found that interesting?
4 out of 9, actually.
So this movie,
Not really popular.
This movie has a lot of rehash of old material, but it has some clever ideas that I didn't anticipate to like this.
I liked it.
I thought it was going to be like a Fred Claus kind of a thing, which we
Right.
didn't include on this thing.
Right.
But I actually ended up really enjoying this movie.
Me too.
Me 3.
It's a tier 2 movie, though. It's a tier 2 Christmas movie.
It's a tier 2 movie. I
Yes.
would agree.
Yep.
See? Jake's agreeing with you now. It's all fine.
Yeah, we all agreed on that
Because
one.
you agreed.
Hey,
Yeah.
good job, Jake.
Thanks,
go
Ken.
with him next time, too.
Okay. Only if you do. All right, next up, The Family Stone from 2005, also known as the worst movie ever made.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
An uptight conservative businesswoman accompanies her boyfriend to his eccentric and outgoing family's annual Christmas celebration and finds that she's a fish out of water in their free-spirited way of life.
I hate this movie.
You waited for me to read that synopsis?
Joel, we're agreeing.
Joel, you
High
could've-
five, Joel.
Just hearing that synopsis
Nice.
again
You could
made
have cut me
remind
off on that one.
I hate this movie.
No.
I
Hold
hate
on.
this movie.
Rachel McAdams is in this movie.
Rachel McAdams and Luke Wilson are the only good thing about this movie.
in his prime as well.
But I hate this movie.
You had a Prime? That's fantastic news for him. I had no idea.
This is a disjointed,
I thought he was
uneven,
always just under.
heavy-handed mess.
It is.
This is just such an over, like it's just in your face the whole time about how, I don't know, it just drove me
Joel,
nuts.
we all feel that, like, if you're gonna go, like, let's say when you were dating and you had to meet your girlfriend's family.
I'm married.
There's always, back when you were dating, I said,
Okay.
there's always that awkwardness, and this perfectly captures
Nothing.
that awkwardness.
We don't want to talk about this very long, Kent.
Okay, I just want to give this little fun fact.
You're going to give all the defenses before he says 2 or 3.
Here's the prank that Diane Keaton played on Luke Wilson.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So Luke Wilson chipped a tooth while filming this movie, and he asked Diane Keaton to recommend a dentist. Keaton decided to play a joke on him, and when he called the number she'd given him, it was actually the number to a psychologist. I hate you, Diane Keaton.
No kidding.
I'm hating movies. You're hating people.
It's a tier 3. It's a bad movie. It's
It really
terrible.
is. Like, it's cliched and annoying. And then the characters make decisions that make no sense whatsoever. They're like, I don't like this person because for no reason.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to act this way
Yeah.
because no reason.
And that's just the type of movie this is.
Right.
There's no logical correspondence
Tier
between
3.
events. There's actually a little story with this one. My wife was talking. She made this friend who loved these girly sorts of movies, and my wife doesn't like girly, feely movies.
Hallmark
at all.
movies.
Like, yeah, no, she likes.
She likes those.
No, she'd rather watch Fast and the Furious, right? Like, I'm like, would you rather see? I'm like, would you rather see Pacific Rim or Family Stone? She'd be like, Pacific Rim all day long. And so, but her friend said, you got to watch this movie. I love this movie so much. You got to watch it. She's like, okay, I'll give it a try. It was the Family Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a lot of it with her and was stunned by how terrible it was.
Bad.
It is jaw dropping.
I have a serious question for you guys.
Sure.
Would you rather watch The Family Stone or pass a kidney stone?
I'll say watch The Family Stone.
Yeah.
Because then at
No,
least
no.
I can see Rachel McAdams.
15 times in a row.
Oh, stop. That's unfair. Move along.
I go to pass the stone at that
Yeah,
point. Can't,
yeah.
yeah. All right, next up, A Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965.
Repelled by the commercialism he sees around him, Charlie Brown tries to find the true meaning of Christmas.
Directed by Bill Melendez, who directed all the Charlie Browns and had a budget of $96,000. That's it.
Jeez.
That's all they had.
Parents' Guide, very mild. Lucy talks romantically to another boy as she leans suggestively on his toy piano.
Suggestively.
Come
What is she
on.
suggesting?
Well, so this is kind of funny because this came about because they contacted the makers of this movie and said, "Hey, we need a holiday movie. Do you want to do one on Charlie Brown?" And they're like, "Sure." They're like, "Good. You have like 2 months to do it."
Wow.
And so they had to throw this thing together and hire people and get things going. Their pitch, it says the pitch basically consisted of, quote, winter scenes, a school play, a scene to be read by the Bible, and a soundtrack combining jazz and traditional music. That was their pitch.
And I think that's basically what you got.
It is. And although Christmas Time Is Here is the most depressing Christmas song ever,
Yeah.
It really is sad.
like
If the Grinch heard that saying after he robbed everyone at Christmas, he'd be like, good.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
it's only 25 minutes long, but it does feel much longer.
Wow. Greg is dying right now. Here's the thing. It is kind of a nice story when he finds that little broken tree.
The Charlie Brown.
And it becomes like the tree.
I literally said today, I said, honey, we need to get new lights for the house because I feel like we got Charlie Brown lights out there.
Yeah.
And this is,
I like how its connection is sadness with Christmas. Like,
it's a sad Christmas movie.
But
Yeah,
it is probably one of the better Charlie Brown holiday specials.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of terrible ones.
how many have you
I
seen?
like this better than the Halloween special.
Too many, honestly. Too
Really?
many. You like this better than the Great Pumpkin? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But this for me is a tier 2 because it's classic. I don't hate it, but man, is the jazz. I don't love the jazz.
Talk to Ryan Gosling about that.
Yeah.
I also
He
gave this
saved
a
it.
tier 2.
Okay.
I think this is a good one, but not one of my favorites.
All right, next up, gentlemen, we're going to do a double header with How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 1966 as well as from 2000.
Now let's see if there's like a huge difference between these
66
two
first.
66
synopses. 66. A grumpy hermit hatches a plan to steal Christmas from the Who's of Whoville.
Starring Boris Karloff. And actually, it's
Now, this is a short one too, right?
This is. And it's because of Charlie Brown Christmas. They gave this more than 4 times the budget that they got for Charlie Brown Christmas. They got $315,000 for this one.
And then for the
Still not very
How
much.
the Grinch Stole Christmas in 2000, on the outskirts of Whoville, there lives a green, revenge-seeking Grinch who plans on ruining the Christmas holiday
hold on.
for all the citizens.
He wants to talk about 66
Let's
first.
go one at a time first.
I'm just saying the differences.
I'm just going to get. I don't want people to get confused about which Grinch we're talking
I
about.
think people will know. Boris Karloff or Jim Carrey in a weird full body suit.
I know, but I want to talk about that a little more.
I feel.
Funny.
Do you ever feel bad for him in that bodysuit?
I think he loved it.
I'll get
my
into that.
gosh.
Mike Myers in
No.
the full body suit? Yes.
I have stories. But
You
we'll
were
get
in a
into
full
that.
body suit.
After 19, so let's do 1966 first.
Okay.
So I want to point out that the book, the original text that this came from, was black and white. Like it was a red
Oh, yeah,
cover,
you're
but
right.
inside it was black and white. So the Grinch wasn't green until the cartoon happened, which I thought was interesting. And then this is one that became hugely popular, but Thurl Ravenscroft, he was the one who sings, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch."
Guess which cereal mascot he is?
What?
They're great.
No kidding.
Isn't that
Tiger.
awesome?
Huh.
But he didn't get credit when it first aired. So everyone assumed it was Boris Karloff singing. So Dr. Seuss himself had to call Ravencroft and apologize for that. Which, by the way, the end song the Whoville song. What do they sing, Kent?
Hold on, let me look it up on Google.
No. Jacob, do you know?
Are they actually saying words?
It's Welcome Christmas, Christmas Day.
I always thought it was Bahu Dore Bahu.
Yeah.
But it's Fahu Fores Dahu Dores.
Is it Latin?
Welcome Christmas.
It's meant to sound like Latin.
It's a pentagram. What? No.
Excuse me? I got so much more significance.
But this was one that I easy tier 1. I love this one.
Easy tier 1.
I
Once
love this
again,
one so much.
It's a 26, 27 minute special.
Yeah.
And this is perfect for what the Grinch book and story
you
actually
wanna
is.
It's cute for that length, really.
Do you want to know why I love this one?
Why?
Because it gives you just enough embellishment without giving you too much crud.
You mean, for example, like having Vern Troyer play young Grinch and being abandoned and hating the town, like all this backstory we need.
Yeah,
and actually,
you did not need that.
Here's the problem with the new Grinch. Spoiler alert.
2000s Grinch, yeah.
They say
Now we're
no
there.
one knows the reason. That's part of the rhyme. Like, no, it's he hates this season. No one knows the reason. And then these two movies, the brand new one in 2000, tell you the reason after saying those lines.
It's ridiculous.
And they make it an hour and a half to 2 hours.
The new one, directed by Ron Howard, who did Backdraft and Solo, obviously starring Jim Carrey, made it a budget of $123 million and made $345 million.
Parents
So
Guide.
success.
The Grinch appears naked in a few scenes in the movie, but nothing is showing.
Nothing is showing.
No, so
it
that
makes you
suit-
wonder, though, doesn't it?
So that suit is a bodysuit covered in yak hair, dyed green.
Wow.
And it was a spandex suit. It took the first time Jim Carrey got all the makeup on, it took him 4 hours. And afterwards, he went into his trailer and kicked a hole in the wall because he wanted to quit the film. He was so mad.
Just the first
Jeez.
time?
Then they brought
Wow.
in a CIA operative who taught Jim Carrey how to endure extreme torture techniques so he could remain calm during the makeup process.
Hold on.
Is that for real?
That's for real.
Is that why Jim Carrey is the way he is today?
It could be.
This is what broke
this
Jim
broke
Carrey.
him in 2000.
Well, honestly, sitting for 4 hours while weird crap is done to you isn't. I mean, it's going to make anybody crazy.
Kind of like the alien ride at Disney World that one time.
Exactly.
That wasn't 4 hours. No, and here's the other thing that kind of weirds me out about this movie, other than the fact that it's full of unnecessary filler, is that Dr. Seuss died in 1991, and he refused to offer to sell the film rights to anyone.
Right.
Then his widow decided she was going to allow people to bid for the chance to do this, but she had some stipulations where she would
It has to be Jim Carrey.
Yeah, they have to pay $5 million for the material, 4% of the box office gross, 50% of the merchandising revenue and music-related
Whoa.
material, and
Holy
70% of the income from the book tie-ins. The letter also stated that any actor submitted for The Grinch must be of comparable stature to Jack Nicholson, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, or Dustin Hoffman.
Wait, what year did she say
Hold
this?
on, those are wildly
This is
different. Jim Carrey's like 6'3", and Dustin Hoffman's like 5'1".
This is what she's demanding this.
Okay.
Plus, she said that she would not consider any director who hadn't earned at least $1 million on a previous picture.
Interesting.
So,
That seems a bit greedy.
Didn't you say 91
yeah.
though? Oh, no, that's when
he
died.
passed away in 91. This is like 98.
Okay.
So she's just cashing in and getting really picky.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this a tier 3.
It's a tier 3.
Man.
You really went for the high five on that one. You were feeling that
I
tier
just
3.
watched this one on Thanksgiving.
I'm so sorry.
I don't remember it being a tier 3. I remember it being a tier 2. There's too much backstory, but
Way too much.
Jim
So
Carrey did a
much.
good job, though, didn't he?
He gave it his all. I'll say that.
Like he did.
He did.
That's what I remember.
The only thing I really like about this movie, well, the two things I like. I like Max the dog, who's a real dog, but they kind of make him just do goofy things.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like the light gun. I want one of those when the
light
lady
gun.
like has
Oh,
the
yeah,
light gun
yeah,
and she
yeah.
shoots the Christmas lights.
Yeah,
over
that
the
was
house.
cool.
It's an unnecessary movie, though, completely.
Oh, that's for sure. All right, we've talked about this one a little bit, but let's go ahead and knock it out. The Polar Express from 2004.
Okay.
Also known as the Dead-Eyed Dolls movie.
On Christmas Eve, a young boy embarks on a magical adventure to the North Pole on the Polar Express while learning about friendship, bravery, and the spirit of Christmas.
Once again, directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future and Who Shamed Roger Rabbit, and starring Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks.
And Steven Tyler. This is the first animated film to use performance capture technology, and it shows.
It's really this.
You remember that scene in Jaws when Quint is talking about
Doll's
the USS
eyes.
Indianapolis going down and everything had doll's eyes?
Dead eyes.
I think he was looking into the future into this movie.
I think that's right.
Yes.
This is one of those movies that I think everyone was kind of like, I don't know if I like the way these characters look, because it was creepy. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone gave the film 1 out of 4 stars and called it a, quote, failed and lifeless experiment in which everything goes wrong. And then Jeff Pevray of Toronto Star said, if I were a child, I'd had nightmares. Come to think of it, I did anyway.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks was the kid. In fact, when they did motion capture, they had the actors who were playing the kids, like because they were adults. They had all the props that were around them and they had to interact with. Oh, they were oversized so they could actually move like kids around this world. What a bad experiment.
I just remember seeing it, like even in the trailers, and thought, did they not see this before they released it?
Do you know who loved it though?
Who?
Roger Ebert. He said,
Probably
"It's
why
a
he
little
died."
He said, it's a
Did you
little
say
creepy.
probably why he died? Yeah.
Not creepy in an unpleasant way.
You're going to
but
let
in
him get away with that
but
after
in
what
that
I
sneaky,
say?
teasing way that lets you know eerie things could happen.
Oh, okay.
He also
Some eerie
said,
things definitely happened
Yes.
to him. I know who killed him. It was Tom Hanks.
He also said there's a deeper, shivery
hobo.
tone instead of the mindless jolliness of the usual Christmas movie.
And look, the book is a
You're
classic.
wrong, Roger Ebert.
And the artwork is a little bit different in the book, but man, they were doing something weird.
Tier 3.
Tier 3 for sure.
For sure. All right, 4 Christmases from 2008. I don't even know what this is.
A couple struggles to visit all 4 of their divorced parents on Christmas.
Directed by Seth Gordon, who did Horrible Bosses, Baywatch, and The King of Kong.
Yeah.
Some of your favorites.
That last one, though.
And starring Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn. Yeah, that's the thing. So King of Kong happened, the documentary that Ken and I both love.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Vince Vaughn, I believe, saw it, and then he said, this guy has to direct our movie because he did this great job with this thing. And direction-wise, it's fine. It's just the story is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, this actually was filmed during the writer's strike, and so they couldn't change anything in the script, and I think that really kind of just...
Actually, it says here, many of the film's key scenes were improvised.
They had to do that. And Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn did not get along during filming. This is a miserable movie to watch. It's just too negative for its own good. So I'm giving this a tier 3.
Tier 3 for sure. Would you rather watch this than Family Stone, though? Because I would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right, The Ref from 1994.
And you are picking the winners.
A cat burglar is forced to take a bickering, dysfunctional family hostage on Christmas Eve.
Directed by Ted Demme, who directed the Salt and Peppa Push It video.
That's it?
That's all.
Wait, is he the brother of Jonathan Demme?
He's the nephew of Jonathan Demme, I believe.
Oh, okay. So he's the nephew of someone that was really actually kind of talented.
Starring Dennis Leary, Kevin Spacey, and Judy Davis, who is not Annette Bening, who I always get confused.
And the film debut of J.K. Simmons, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean...
Is he the cop in this?
Good on you, Ref. I don't even remember.
Oh. By the way, this had a budget of $11 million. You want to guess how much it made at the box office?
I don't know.
$11 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, there's something to be said about the comedy of Dennis Leary, and this was like his showcase, right? This is really of like a wrong place, wrong time for him.
It's just he's got a very distinct style of humor,
Yes.
but this is just a mean-spirited movie about people making each other miserable. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's just miserable.
Yeah,
But Joel-
I've never seen this. What have you guys tier in this one?
Any movie with Kevin Spacey's going to hold up over time, I think. It's a tier 3.
Wow.
It's a tier.
Yeah.
I think you peaked the audio
it's a tier
levels
3
on
to
that one, Joel.
me, but not to Roger Ebert. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
You
and
keep
said,
quoting Roger Ebert.
3 out of 4 stars. He said, material like this is only as good as the acting and the writing. The ref is skillful in both areas.
It was sharp. It's a sharp movie, but it's not... I don't think it's very funny.
It's not funny. It's not good. Tier
Right.
3.
How many tier 3s have you given this show?
10, like we agreed on.
I think you've given like 15 already.
I don't know. Yeah. I hear it's like 12 or 15 tier 2s, and then the rest are tier
10
3s, and then there was
11
like one tier 2s.
I think I Love Christmas.
Sure. All right, let's see what you do next
Not the
time.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, also known as a classic.
The Griswold family's plans for a big family Christmas predictably turns into a big disaster.
Directed by Jeremiah S. Chekic, who directed Benny and June and The Avengers.
Oh, like the Avengers with Ray
1998's
Fiennes?
1998's Avengers.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman.
Starring Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, and not Padalecki. What's his name?
Jared Padalecki?
No, the dude from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
The main dude.
Jared Padalecki.
That's
No,
not Jared
that is
Padalecki.
not Jared Padalecki.
Oh, hold on.
That's Supernatural.
It's something Padalecki.
No, it's what is his name? Hold on.
Ricky Padawaski.
Not right.
Sheldon. Young Sheldon.
No. Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Go Lucky?
Johnny
Killed Joel.
Galecki.
Despite being a Christmas movie, Christmas Day is never actually seen in the movie. The film ends on Christmas Eve.
But it's all leading up to Christmas.
It's
They
all
have the
leading up,
Advent
yes.
calendar. And this is one I watch pretty much every year. This is the third installment to the Vacation series. Every other vacation movie is good. Because like you get the original Vacation, which is good. Vacation or European Vacation is not so good. Then Christmas Vacation is great. Then Vegas Vacation.
You really don't like European Vacation?
It's just not as good.
It's saucy, but I think it's still funny.
It made me laugh.
Yeah.
And this Christmas Vacation is based on John Hughes' short story, Christmas 59. And it spawned its own direct sequel, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Oh, my gosh.
Chris Columbus was actually going to direct this, but he did not get along with Chevy Chase at all.
Yeah.
So he went on to
Isn't
Home
that
Alone.
funny? Like in Chevy's entire career, he didn't get along with people.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
kind of his thing, isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah. Roger Ebert only gave it 2 out of 4 stars.
He's got to just say that.
Roger's wrong again. He's not really on
He's
with
very
this
wrong
stuff.
because this is a tier 1. Easy.
Do you love this movie?
Easy. I love this movie.
I wondered about that because the other day I was talking to you and you started quoting this out of nowhere. Some other guy came into the office and was just, these two were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Just with quotes from this movie.
Quotes from this movie.
Yeah. And then the poor other girl in the room was like, is this from a cartoon?
Yeah.
She had no idea.
Yeah.
But we were just going back and forth. I love this movie. This is a tier 1.
I wanted to poke my freaking eyes out.
What?
If I had another spot for tier 3, this would be tier 3.
No.
I've never cared for Christmas Vacation.
What is he doing over there?
From a kid on.
Well, calm down, Roger Ebert.
He's just daring to be the villain.
This is like...
Ebert gave it 2 out of 4. Let's see
yeah,
what he gives
exactly.
it.
This is a quotable movie. This is
that's what it is. That's what it is. It's quotable
too
and popular.
It's too popular.
Exactly.
But even
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I'm like, that's hilarious. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. That's
the whole-
insane.
Do you
It's
like any
so
vacation movies?
It's predictable. I mean, I do like the first Vacation a lot, and I like European Vacation. They kind of go descending order.
Do you even
for me
like
on this one.
vacations?
I like staycations. I'm kind of indoorsy.
Staycations, okay.
But no, I
Is
think
that from the
this movie
Tinder profile?
is so overrated. I actually really don't care about it. I'm giving it tier 2 because I fear for what everyone will say if I give it a tier 3.
You hate
it's
it, though.
a fearful tier 2.
Dare to be the villain, Kent.
but I don't have room.
You're giving this the same ranking you're giving Night Before Christmas. I want to point that out to you right now. I mean, I did, and I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that?
This is an honorary tier 3, but it gets a tier 2.
There's no such thing as honorary tier
What does that
3.
even mean?
It's upper, lower, middle.
Move
level.
along. I don't want to hate on this one anymore.
I just
Such
want to
a
sit here
funny
and watch
movie.
you talk and try to dig yourself out
No,
of this.
okay. True fact. At one of my jobs, I actually showed this to a millennial, and he did not find it funny. So that just proves that Kent's a millennial.
Basically. Yeah, I see the
Okay,
connections.
okay.
Yeah. Actually, this is one of those movies that sometimes you don't find funny the first time.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's the Dumb and Dumber effect or something. It's like, what's
yeah,
going
it gets
on?
dumb and dumber more you watch it.
It
you
makes
like
me
Dumb
laugh
and Dumber.
every time. Like honestly, every time he opens up the attic door and it hits him in the face, every single time I guffaw. I love it. I love
do?
that part. It's just one of those great physical comedy moments.
Okay.
I don't know, when he covers the house, like there's a lot of
With the
elements.
lights,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. No, that's
And
funny.
it doesn't work, and he gets all frustrated.
Yeah.
The ending's a little weak, but man,
The ending is a little weak,
Cousin
but,
Eddie
yeah.
and the dog and the cat.
Look at this guy over
The cat
here.
is the
laughing
couch.
about the cat. All he says is the dog and the cat.
It's your house on fire.
No, don't quote it. We're good.
All right.
I heard this all the other day.
Next up, this is one gentleman that we have a bit of a history with here on Baconsale.
Night Before Christmas.
I know. I was going to
We've already
say.
discussed that one. This is none other than the anti-Santa, Krampus.
Oh, guys, don't summon him. Jeez.
Krampus.
A boy who has had a bad Christmas ends up accidentally summoning a festive demon. I love it's called a festive demon to his family home.
I'm a festive demon. Give me your sword.
He loves seasons.
No, he's hoofing it, right? No, what,
He's a hoofer. for sure.
He's totally a hoofer.
yeah.
So Fred Astaire and Krampus.
Directed by Michael Dougherty, who did Trick or Treat and the upcoming Godzilla movie, and starring Adam Scott, Toni Collette, and David Kochner.
So, according to Michael Dougherty, he says this is a Christmas film that's both scary and sentimental. He says, for example, classics like A Christmas Carol and A Wonderful Life are nightmares that show you that these broken characters experience a darker side of divine intervention. They need to be scared straight. And that this is his version of those movies. Isn't that so funny?
Made on a budget of $15 million and made $61.5 million. So it did well.
Yeah. I mean, it's horror, right?
It's one of
Horror
our
will
first
always make
reviews
back
we
its
did a while
money.
back, right?
Yes.
And this one, I think the reason I enjoyed this one, because I'll admit I enjoyed it, it's that it did not take itself too seriously. Like, I was laughing at this movie a lot, not
Yeah.
at the jokes, just at the sheer stupidity of it all.
the
I
sheer
will say
craziness
the
of it,
intro
yeah.
is phenomenal, but then for like 30 minutes, nothing happens. It gets a little boring until it gets madcap crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
it
the-
goes madcap that it works.
when the monsters start coming out and like
When they start
Jack in
hooking the
Box
boy
with
through the chimney.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the girl in the snow under the car.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This movie, though, I gave a tier 2 because
could see that.
It's not one of my all-time favorites, but I enjoyed it, man.
It's a tier 1.
Tier 1?
gave it a tier one?
It is
Tier
not a
one.
tier 1 on any planet.
1?
I would rather watch this movie annually than most movies on this list.
That is weird.
That is
Outside of
really
This
weird.
is the man you're agreeing with, Jacob.
Not this time.
This is the man
Dude,
you're agreeing
I
with.
love Krampus, and Krampus, wherever you are, I love you. Don't put me back in your snow globe.
Krampus is tier 3. It's just tier 2 for love of Baconsale, really.
No, dude, you got to understand though. I love
it's
horror.
campy. It's
and for
campy
me,
horror
the-
comedy.
Yeah,
It is
it's like the camp wins, and this movie knows what it is.
Yeah, it's boring through so much of it. It has
For a
like
half hour.
tremendous
For a half hour,
moments.
it's quite
So wait,
boring.
you give it a tier 1, I give it a tier 2, Jacob gave it a tier 3.
Yeah.
Well, I think we just got a bacon cell, fellas.
Oh, hey.
That's called a Baconsale.
Hey, disagreement.
All right. Next up, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964, the old claymation.
You know Dasher.
You know Dasher and Dancer and Prance.
A misfit reindeer and his friends look for a place that will accept them. That is it.
The only thing you really know about this is it has Burl Ives singing in it. You don't really know the rest of the cast.
Burl
So
Ives.
here's the thing. In the original version, Rudolph, Hermie, and Yukon Cornelius promised to help the misfit toys. Remember when they go to the island, of course.
Yes.
But in the original version, the misfit toys are never mentioned again. It's a big plot hole.
Yeah,
They say, we'll come back and help you.
And then they never do.
seen again. So children complained through letters, and Rankin Bass added that scene at the end where they come back to help them, give them toys and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Ken, what's your ranking on this one?
Tier 1.
It has been telecast every year since 1964.
It's
by the
the
way.
tier 1 because-
making it the longest continuously running Christmas TV special in history.
Look,
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Is it the most Christmassy of all movies? That's to be decided possibly next year.
Possibly.
But it is definitely the setting, the fact that Santa's so involved, the fact that it's Rudolph and his goal to lead that sleigh. It's got some really weird stuff in here.
it does have some weird stuff.
Okay.
But it's
just
a tier 1 for
I think
me.
just the Island
So-
of Misfit Toys was just such a charming concept as a kid.
It's
you know?
based off of the song, of course. It's
Yeah.
55 minutes long. That's double the
It's too
Grinch
long.
or Charlie Brown.
It should be the length of the Grinch.
Which I like the Rudolph story, but do we really need Yukon Cornelius, Hermie, and King
No,
Moonracer?
I
King
would-
Moonracer.
King Moonracer's on the Island of Misfit Toys. You need him. You definitely
see
need
that
him.
emotional
I'm saying these characters. It's
No, the island needs to stay. Yukon definitely needs to stay. You know,
what does Yukon
silver?
do? What does Yukon
He
do?
sings silver and gold first of all.
The only good
and then he
silver
licks
and gold.
he licks the end of the pike and he
the
goes,
only truly
Nothing.
good songs.
do that again?
Do you know why he does that? By the way,
nothing.
He's actually testing for peppermint. They actually deleted a scene of him finding a peppermint stripe in the ground by in the North Pole.
Oh, really? Why didn't
Yeah.
they keep that? That's great.
Because they
everything-
had to make room for the
'Cause he was looking for
them
gold.
saving the toys.
But you see any sort of image from this movie, any image, and it brings you right back to Christmas when
It's
you're
true.
7 years old.
And this one also, but like I said, Jacob, the only truly memorable songs from this are Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Holly Jolly Christmas.
No, silver and gold.
Sing it.
Silver and gold.
Sing anything but the word silver and gold.
I don't know lyrics, Joel.
Mining for silver and gold.
I can't even sing songs I know well, Joel. And I do know that well.
This is a tier 2.
Tier 2. Okay.
It seems a little harsh.
No,
It
I
is.
mean, okay, I can't stand by a movie where a young dentist tortures a poor animal, rips his teeth out, so that abominable son is just going to starve to death now. There's nothing you can do about it. He ruined his livelihood and his defense mechanism.
Listen, honestly, the Abominable Snowman, that's a great subplot.
Were you actually kind of scared of the Abominable Snowman?
yeah,
I was
he's
too,
terrifying
yeah.
as
Isn't
a
that
kid.
so weird?
I do love this one, and I actually think it's kind of funny. Jacob, speaking of misfit toys, is that they had no idea how popular this was going to be. So after they were done with filming, they kind of gave all the puppets and props to everybody. Oh, and then they
That's film history right there.
It
and
is.
no one knew, and a lot of them weren't preserved. They were just played with or discarded and left to
that's
rot.
so sad.
That's too bad.
They found some recently on Antiques Roadshow. Actually, some people found them in their attic. and
Wow.
they were like $8,000 a piece or something like that.
yeah.
But they
I
sounded.
mean, I wouldn't spend $8,000 on one, but it'd be cool to have it.
Also,
Yeah.
a lot of people, it just screened fairly recently. A lot of people pointed out this, and I didn't even think about it. But at the end, when the elves are throwing the toys out, the misfit toys out to the people,
Right.
Yeah.
they throw out the bird who can't fly. Just pointing that out.
That's great.
That's wonderful,
I
actually.
can't stand by this movie for that reason.
For the
and
bird?
Santa's a jerk in this movie.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like
he's
you-
just gruff. He's business.
Yes.
He's got stuff to do.
I don't like business Santa. I
Wait,
like
isn't
happy
Santa this one?
His
Doesn't he-
wife's very sweet, though.
Didn't he skip leg day? Isn't he like
He's
Santa?
like-
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
tiny toothpick
No, but like
legs.
when Rudolph's nose things falls off, he's like, "Oh, that's horrible."
Tier 2, really? This is a great
This
Christmas
is tier
movie.
1, Joel.
No,
I mean, this
change
is-
your vote.
It got
Yeah.
bumped. It got bumped out.
Hashtag change your
Why
vote right now.
what? What
You'll-
would bump this out?
Start picking good ones, and I'll tell you.
There's only like 5 left.
I like this movie. It's not like it's a bad movie.
It seems like you
but
hate
there's
it.
so much filler. It could have been a 26-minute movie and have been much better.
And then
Wow.
you wouldn't have the Abominable Snowman.
No, that could stay. Just get rid of the Island of Misfit Toys and Yukon Cornelius.
There's something
And
to
the
be said
dentist.
about the Misfit Island and
do we
Misfit
really
Toys.
Yeah.
need? Do we really need 3 different examples of people getting
Yes.
ostracized because they're different?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That is overkill.
I've seen T-shirts. I come from the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes.
All right. We'll move on, though. Next movie is A Christmas Story from 1983, also known as Joel's Tier 1 pick.
Oh yeah, it is a tier 1 for me.
In the 1940s, a young boy named Ralphie attempts to convince his parents, his teacher, and Santa that a Red Ryder BB gun is really the perfect Christmas gift.
Directed by Bob Clark, who did Black Christmas, Porky's, and Baby Geniuses.
Oh, sure. This gets it. But
Isn't
not
it weird
Rudolph.
that so apparently Porky's is the reason? So it's going to be kind of funny, that correlation here. The money the director made from Porky's is the reason this movie exists. A Christmas Story.
Well, not only that,
That is
Kent,
strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bring this up, and I apologize for bringing it up, but these all come from these stories by a guy named Gene Shepard, who wrote some articles for a magazine.
Oh, what's a magazine?
Of an adult nature.
Which one?
Well, you know what's Bruce Wayne, Kent? He's a millionaire. What?
He's a vigilante.
Yes.
Yeah, millionaire vigilante. Yeah.
No, he wrote
millionaire.
He wrote some articles from Playboy, and
Yes.
it ended up being this movie, which is just weird to think about. Well, he actually collected all the anecdotes in a book called "In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash," and that's kind of where they got the story from. Was
That's
that.
so weird, though. It started that way and became a family like classic throughout the years.
Yeah, they have marathons on TNT where they do 24 hours of A Christmas Story, where they just play the same movie over and over for the whole day, which I think is actually good because I actually really enjoy this movie.
Did you feel like some sort of vindication when he beats up the bully? In this movie, right?
When he's on him, like,
But it's pretty savage.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nonstop.
It's nonstop. But there's so many classic moments to this, like in lines that I quote so often, like just "I can't move my arms."
Right. And actually, so the scene where Flick's tongue sticks to the flagpole, they used a hidden suction tube in the flagpole, and they made it look like it stuck to the metal on that one.
My daughter, just recently, my 6-year-old,
Did she try?
She stuck her tongue in the freezer, I think it was, when they were getting something. And it was her lip. She hurt her lip with it.
Right.
And I said, "You just watched A Christmas Story. You know not to do that."
We all tested the theory, though, right?
We all kind of wanted to. I think we all wanted a BB gun, too, a Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
But tier
You
one
shoot
for
your
me.
eye out, kid.
Easy,
Tier one.
easy tier one for me.
All right, next up is Home Alone 1 and 2. So 1990.
But not 3 or 4,
and
right?
1992.
Well, once Kevin left the franchise.
Just 1 and 2.
An 8-year-old troublemaker must protect his house from a pair of burglars when he is accidentally left home alone by his family during Christmas vacation.
Directed by Chris Columbus, who did Harry Potter, The Help, and Mrs. Doubtfire, and starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern. So the first one had a budget of $18 million. The second one had a budget of $20 million.
Do you remember seeing... I saw this one in the theater.
Oh, I saw this one in the theater, too.
And I remember, like, my friend was like, "Hey, my mom's going to take me to a movie. Do you want to see Home Alone?" I'm like, "Sure, fine." And that movie was so funny. And then within a week, it blew up.
Oh, it went big.
Yeah.
I remember we went to go see it in the theater, and then my friend's dad came and picked us up.
Right.
And on the drive home, we were talking about, in this part when the paint cans hit him in the face, and in this part when he put his feet on the glass, and this part when the nail went in it.
Yeah.
We got to the house, and my friend's dad goes, "Well, I feel like I've seen it."
Oh, because he wasn't even there.
Yeah, we were pretty,
Yeah.
I just remember they were doing interviews with people and seeing how many times they had watched that movie, like
Wow.
that season. Like I remember some lady being like, "I went to the theater 19 times."
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
it's like, oh my gosh.
But yeah, like I said, $18 million for the first one, $20 million for the second one, but combined total of $834 million for just those two.
Holy cow.
This
So-
one, it only has a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, the first one.
So, fun fact, Catherine O'Hara, who plays the mother,
Yeah.
revealed in 2014 that Macaulay Culkin still calls her mom. That makes sense.
Aw, that's cute.
And also, Joe Pesci kept forgetting he was filming a family movie during his character's on-screen outburst, so Chris Columbus, director, advised him to say fridge.
Well, he still swore a bit, though.
Yes.
And then apparently Macaulay Culkin still has a scar on his finger from when Joe Pesci bit it. Remember that part when he's like, "I'm going to bite off all your fingers one by one." And then he bites his first finger.
And he really bit a kid's
He actually
part.
really bit his finger.
Holy crap.
And it left a scar.
That's Joe Pesci, method actor,
he's
wet
nuts.
bandit.
Oh, it's terrible.
Method actor.
But no, these movies, it's hard for me to separate my love for these as a kid, as an adult. And even though Home Alone 2 and Home Alone 1 are essentially the same exact movie.
It's true. Have you shown your kids these movies yet?
Home Alone 1. They've
Okay,
seen
did
that
they
one.
like it?
Oh, they loved it.
Okay, good. Because I want to
Yeah.
know if it holds up for kids
Oh,
nowadays.
yeah, kids love it.
Right.
Although it's funny because they talk about how they were so worried for the stuntmen because they were like, every time people
They're
thought it was
actually
funny,
having- yeah.
we thought we were just hoping they'd stand up after because these stuntmen were doing these things without wires and without helmets, and it was very dangerous.
Well,
And
yeah.
I've actually seen YouTube videos of them. I think it was maybe Mythbusters.
Okay.
Where they talked about what would happen if these things actually happen to you. And they're
How
like,
many
yeah,
times would they
they'd
have
be
died?
dead. Oh yeah, and they were
Yes.
dead like consistently through it.
This is tier 1 for me.
Oh, it's tier 1 for me too, but not for Roger Ebert. Who said,
Here we are again.
who said, "The cartoon violence is only funny in cartoons. Most of the live action attempts to duplicate animation have failed because when flesh and blood figures hit the pavement, we can almost hear the bones crunch, and it isn't funny."
Roger Ebert, you're not funny.
I bet he contradicted himself quite a bit with that review compared to some others.
Oh, probably so.
Yeah.
I love Home Alone. Just from the music, the Somewhere in My Memory. I love that Somewhere in
You
My
with the
Memory.
French call les incompetents.
No, it's tier 2 for sure. Yeah, because I'm just going to randomly choose great Christmas classics and make them tier 2.
He's
Wow.
Still
Yeah.
mad, he's still mad about Rudolph.
Oh, that's it.
It's tier
Yes.
1. It's tier 1.
Yeah, I love
We
this
just
one.
stared at you. What?
You guys are just quiet.
This is what we treasure.
Next up, another one you treasure is the Santa Claus 1, 2, and 3.
And not really 3, because who's really seen the Santa Claus 3?
No,
Three,
but
three's
you
the
gotta-
best one.
With
Right after 1 and 2, it is easily the best.
it's Martin
one.
Short playing Jack Frost as the villain in that one.
Yeah.
Santa Claus 2, I think he has to find Mrs. Claus, and it's
Yes.
actually Elizabeth Mitchell from Lost.
It is.
Yeah. But Santa Claus 1 is probably what we'll focus on here.
Yes.
And it's when a man inadvertently kills Santa Claus on Christmas Eve.
Man kills a Santa.
He must take his place. He finds himself magically recruited to take his place.
Well, in the original script, he actually shoots Santa because he thinks he's an intruder.
What?
And Tim Allen was like, "Yeah, let's shoot him." And the director's
Yeah.
like, "No, we can't do that." So then they softened it a bit.
Especially because Tim Allen...
Wait, how did he die?
He fell off the
Fell
roof.
off the roof.
Just fell off.
He startles him. He's like, "Hey, you! What are you doing up there?" And he slips and falls.
Okay.
Especially because Tim Allen was this ex-con who was like the first ex-con
Yeah.
ever allowed to be in Disney
But
movies.
this is post Home Improvement as well.
Yes.
Which
So-
the director of Home Improvement, the guy who directed all the tons of episodes of Home Improvement, actually directed the first Santa Claus as well.
The sight gags with him gaining weight in this movie are great.
Does this look
It's
like
funny.
a little weight to you?
Right. And it's just funny like how he becomes Santa. I don't remember much of this movie beyond that. But
Well-
I do think 2 kind of holds some of that magic as well.
It does. In fact, Eric D. Snyder wrote this.
Eric
And-
Snyder. Don't
Yeah.
quote him much.
Oh, I like this quote. It says, "The first time we did the Santa Claus, the first time with enthusiasm, the second time with affection, and the third time for a paycheck."
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like, and also just look at this. So the budget for the first one was $22 million. The budget for the second one was $65 million.
Okay.
And then it went down to $12 million for the third
Because
one.
they just didn't care.
So like they ballooned up in the middle, and then same with the box office returns. It actually went down. So it started at 89 million, then went to 172 million, and the last one only got 100.
So they were never huge then.
No. Rotten Tomatoes, 74 million for the first, or 74% for the first one, 55% for the second one, 17% for the third one.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
Yeah.
diminishing returns, which is why this one got pulled into a tier 2.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
it be tier 1 otherwise?
The first one might
The
be.
first one is near tier 1. But
Near tier 1. Still
a,
tier 2.
It's a tier 2 series.
Next up is Elf from 2003.
Oh boy.
After inadvertently wreaking havoc on the elf community due to his ungainly size, a man raised as an elf at the North Pole is sent to the U.S. in search of his true identity.
Directed by Jon Favreau, who did Iron Man, The Jungle Book, and Zathura, and starring Will Ferrell, James Caan, Bob Newhart, Zooey Deschanel, and Peter Dinklage.
Yes.
All right. Are you guys one of the haters on this movie? I don't remember.
Such a hater.
You're such a hater. Joel, are you a
I hate
hater too?
this movie.
Let's let him go first.
All right, hater. Let's hear it.
I detest this movie. I do think it's kind
More
of funny.
than Christmas Vacation?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it
yes, because
it's
Christmas
popular?
Vacation got a tier 2. It's when I saw this movie, I really enjoyed the Burl Ives part. Like I thought the whole Christmas Village part was fun, derivative, but fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just Will Ferrell on parade in every
But
way.
Will Ferrell in parade in his prime. Like, this is prime Will Ferrell.
and I hate Will Ferrell.
is.
So in his prime is actually the worst Will Ferrell you could
it's like,
possibly
it's like
get.
a nicely ripe pineapple for me. Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
precisely. And so I think this movie is so annoying, so contrived, and it's fun to see a grown man play like a tiny,
Yeah.
immature boy. But Will Ferrell gets on my nerves. And maybe if it was someone else, but I didn't buy the James Caan role. Zooey Deschanel is in this
Yeah.
movie. She's
A blonde Zooey
She's
Deschanel.
adorable in this movie.
Yeah, she's really charming in this.
But everything was just I hated the plot. I hated Will Ferrell.
Wow.
Everything is. And when people are like, oh, I love
Calm
Elf.
down, Roger Ebert.
Hey, Roger Ebert's back from the dead. He's sitting at the table with us, Joel.
But no, yeah, it's a tier 3. This is tier 3.
Tier
so you can
3?
get- Yeah.
Yikes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So on the
Man.
flip, on the kind of flip side, I like this movie. I don't love it as much as other people do. Like other people put this up there as one of the greatest Christmas classics of all time. I do not. I enjoy this movie, but like the ending really kind of just goes over the top, kind of corny for me. Like
Yeah.
when they all start singing in the park. Also, I
They
wonder,
have to sing to get the Santa meter up or
doesn't make
something.
any sense.
I can't
Santa
remember.
meter.
Yeah.
but also the fact that Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? There's some good lines in here, but
Quotable.
he's a human, right?
Yes.
So how can
Yeah.
he eat that much sugar and not get diabetes?
He's used to it.
You don't get used to that. You get diabetes.
Evolutionary things.
Actually,
how it works.
Joel, fun fact, he actually ate all those and he got sick for a few days
Yeah,
behind the
spaghetti
scenes.
scene, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
No,
he didn't actually drink the 2-liter, by the way, but the belch was real. Not him. It was actually Maurice LaMarche, who's a voice actor. He did the real belch. That's a real unedited belch when he drinks the soda and then lets out that long belch. He's like,
Wow.
"Did you hear that?"
I almost want to give this movie some props, or Will Ferrell, because
your time is done to hate.
He turned down $29 million to be in the sequel in 2013.
Oh, good for him.
Really?
Thank you, Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's good.
Also, another cool fact about this.
$29 million?
Yeah.
That's a giant paycheck.
Well, considering the budget for this thing, the first one was only $33 million.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So he did Anchorman 2 instead.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Well, another good get for this movie is it had Peter Billingsley in it, who played Ralphie in The Christmas Story.
That's true.
He plays the head elf. But this, when Will Ferrell is being Will Ferrell, it is hilarious. When he dive tackles that Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Or when he screams when Santa is going to come. When he does the cool, decorations. I loved all
that. The
that.
whole fish out of the water thing is actually pretty funny.
The Jack in the Box testing, even that, I got a kick out of that. Which they had a remote. But he didn't know when they were going to go off because there's someone with a remote that would push a button and actually scare him.
Hilarious.
But I found it highly entertaining when he was being Will Ferrell. There's some corny parts in it. The snowball fight didn't really work for me, and there's some other things. Peter Dinklage is great in this movie.
He is, yeah.
Call me Elf one more time. But this is a tier 2.
A tier 2?
It got pushed out, and I'm not as big of a lover as other people are about this movie, but
Yeah. I feel
like
like
it.
people that have seen maybe 5 Christmas movies think of this as one of their best.
but it's a good movie though. Like it's one of those modern classics that it has ingrained itself into the Christmas fabric.
Because there's not many
It's
modern
woven
great
itself in there.
modern Christmas movies.
There's not. I mean, they're hard to come by.
Yes.
I kind of did. I had to turn off my Kent brain for this one.
You got a Kent brain?
I do. Yeah. It's sort of this negative, it's a little bit.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
What have you done?
No, this is pre-Kent, honestly.
It's not all negative. It's
No.
more discerning.
No, when he says Kent brain, he means negative.
I totally mean
Lizard
that.
brain.
No, I mean, looking at Will Ferrell, it's
Caring
I have
about what you're
I have-
ingesting.
I have to drop all the other baggage of Will Ferrell and just look at this movie as a singular piece of entertainment based
This-
around Christmas.
this is a
and when
plate
I do
of
that,
waffles
this
and
show is
spaghetti.
actually very, very charming.
His innocence really sells it.
It does. It does. Now, if you look at Will Ferrell as a whole, then it becomes like just a Will Ferrell parade. Is
Yeah.
that what you said? And that's true. But if I don't think about that in the greater context,
Will Ferrell, like he
Yeah,
he had,
2003 is
bit roles
early.
Before. This was his big kind of boom, I'm a star role.
yeah, no, the movie is very charming. It's
Charming. Will
Yeah.
Ferrell,
Yes.
the leotard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's charming and funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I agree. Jacob, we agree.
All right, we
Wait, Are
agree.
you giving this a tier 1 or tier 2?
If I had to give certain limits, it might have to be pushed down to it, like an upper tier 2, like just barely out of tier
not a
1.
thing.
But it depends on the limits.
It's an honorary tier 1.
You can say pushed out. You can't say upper, lower,
If I
middle.
don't have to count, which I'm not counting, it's a tier 1 Christmas movie.
Wow.
Seen 5
Baconsale.
Christmas movies.
I've seen 5.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, one of the other 5 I've seen is Frosty the Snowman from 1969.
This again is the little short, made in 1969, as Jacob said.
A living snowman and a little girl struggle to elude a greedy magician. Wow, this movie is weird. Who is after the snowman's magic hat?
Any more than Captain Moonracer?
Yeah,
it
actually.
Captain?
No,
Yes.
it's not.
It's like
So this was a hit song in
King
1950.
Moonracer. Yeah.
Hit song about 19 years before this became a movie. And they just decided to, much like Rudolph,
It's
decided
much like
to
Rudolph
adapt
in that
it.
regard, but this one's animated.
Still animated by Rankin Bass, though.
Yes.
Yes.
This one is interesting because, once again, there's a song, and they put so much filler into this, it gets a little weird. Like the
Yes.
whole magician thing and the bunny thing. But when he puts on the hat, it just goes, "Happy birthday."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just puts a smile on
There
my
is
face.
And there
charm.
is drama here. When he melts, you're like, oh, wow. Do I?
Yeah, it's really
care?
sad. I was really
Yeah.
sad as a kid when I saw that.
That'll get you. I give this one a tier 2.
Tier 2 as well.
Yeah, tier 2. All right, next up is White Christmas, 1954, the classic.
Otherwise known as the ripoff of Holiday Inn.
They are different.
A successful song and dance team, Hoofer and a crooner,
Crooner.
become romantically involved with the sister act and team up to save a failing Vermont inn of their former
This is a cute
commanding
movie, though.
general.
Yeah. Starring Bing Crosby again, but Danny Kaye instead of Fred
I like
Astaire.
Danny Kaye a lot.
He plays better
actually.
with Danny Kaye.
And
I
Rosemary
think, yeah.
Clooney also in this one.
Yes.
So this one, once again, featured White Christmas, although they sing it like in a battlefield at the beginning of this one.
Yeah.
But this is very loosely based on Holiday Inn. They took it to Holiday Inn's 1947. This is 1954, so, math later. And they kind of just redid it.
This is also one of those movies that I think so many musicals really fall guilty of, where there's scenes and it's witty and it's clever. Then all of a sudden they go to the stage and there's a song that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
That's just the 50s, man.
Or it's like this is the theater. That whole
They were
song. and
never
dance.
such devoted sisters.
And there's a fun number.
There's fun songs here, but they don't fit well with.
By the way,
movie.
Jacob, Rosemary Clooney sang both parts of Sisters. She dubbed,
did?
she dubbed the
Really?
other part.
Wow.
Is Rosemary Clooney? She's not the super. Is she the super skinny one, or is she the other one?
I super skinny.
Well, there's one of them that had like she has like a 10-inch waist or something like that. Like it was.
I don't know.
I didn't
like
know-
she
I
was
don't-
like
I don't
sickly
judge
looking.
women by their physical appearance, Jacob. So I don't know.
It has nothing to do with that. No, it was a thing.
My Kent brain turned on. Did you hear that? Dare to be the villain.
How can I trap Jake? This is a tier 3.
I also give it a tier 3.
Tier 3?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a-
Holiday Inn was a tier
it's a
2
tier
because
2.
it's a better movie.
Holiday Inn, I think, is the better movie out of the two.
Yeah.
But people remember this one for the sisters. They remember that, and they remember White Christmas.
No, I like the whole deal where, well, Danny Kaye's really good in it.
He is.
I
Danny
think,
Kaye's entertaining.
And I think the heartstrings thing with the general is actually pretty cute.
And that is cute, like how they put it together for him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, I was like, it doesn't have enough Christmas in it. Also,
No,
That's
it
one of those
doesn't.
where
Right. It's not
It
Christmassy.
starts and ends on Christmas Eve, but
Yeah.
it's mostly the stuff in between.
Honorary
It's
Christmas.
true. That's exactly right. All right.
We're gonna make so many people mad.
There
Yes.
are just 2 left, gentlemen.
Ooh.
The next to last, the penultimate, if you will, is The Holiday from 2006.
That's what you chose?
Yeah. It was going to be White Christmas, but I decided I didn't want to do 2 big ones in a row.
Okay. 2 women troubled with guy problems swap homes in each other's countries where they each meet a local guy and fall in love.
Directed by Nancy Myers, who did The Parent Trap, What Women Want, and It's Complicated, and starring Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, and Jack Black. Remember when Jack Black did romantic comedies for 1 or 2 movies?
What?
Yeah.
Nah, that couldn't be.
Budget of $85 million, and it made $205 million at the box office.
This movie's really quite
pretty
interesting
well.
because I think it was the tail end of all rom-coms because they really,
Yeah.
into the late 2000s, they weren't popular, but this one had legs. Like you talk to people today and they still love The Holiday.
We don't judge movie by their legs, Kent. Okay?
Hey, Santa skip leg day, okay? Or the 10-inch waist, is that what we're judging on?
yeah, that's what we
That's what
judge
you
by.
go
So,
for.
yeah.
This is one where it's just a weird pairing. Like I remember Kate Winslet and Jack Black. When I saw him even on the poster, I was like, I don't see that. Like, why isn't Kate Winslet with Leonardo DiCaprio? What's going on?
Because she has to be, is that what it is?
Yeah, and well, then Cameron Diaz,
Jack, right?
she can be grating in this movie. Like Kate Winslet is the heart of this movie. Cameron Diaz is kind of the fun. I guess.
Isn't that kind of purposeful? though?
Yeah, but that's just it. It's like she was a little grating.
I think this movie stays in its lane. It knows exactly what it is and isn't the worst for it. This is kind of a medium level rom-com, and that's why I'm going to give it a medium level grade. This is a tier 2 for me.
So better
Really?
than
Yes.
The Elf, I guess.
Yeah, it's better than
You're
Elf.
saying The Holiday is better than The Elf.
Straight up.
The Elf. The Elf.
He's like, crap, I have to say that.
You're saying
I
this
know.
is on the same level as Night Before Christmas.
Stop
That's
that
what
right
you're
now. Stop it. Stop it.
You gave Night Before Christmas a tier 2.
Sorry.
Tier 2 Christmas.
Yeah, I'm giving this one a tier 3 just because it's easily forgettable amidst all these. It's one
Yeah,
of the
what
lower
movie were we
ones.
talking about?
The Holiday.
So here's what's
I
funny.
forgot.
So fun fact, Dustin Hoffman has a cameo in this movie.
He does in the video store.
Was not scripted. He was driving by a Blockbuster and he saw a film crew. And so he walked in and he's like, hey, I know the director. And so she's like, do you want a part? Yeah, sure. I'll be in
They
your
gave
movie.
him and Jack Black talk about the score of The Graduate in the film.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one interesting thing about
Well,
it.
that's
right.
appropriate
One
for this
interesting
type of
thing
movie.
about the movie.
Yeah.
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 Probably won't watch the movie for that. Gentlemen, are you ready for the final Christmas movie? This is the 31st. Whew, we've
ready.
gone through a lot.
Is
like 31 days
is
of
Fred
December,
Christmas?
by the way.
It's got to be Fred Christmas.
Oh, Fred Christmas.
Fred Claus, I think is what you're
No,
thinking
Fred
of.
Claus. Yes, that's
Fred
it.
Claus. That's right. I even forgot the title of it.
Yeah.
The last one is going to be the one Joel once erased from existence.
I did. That was your fault.
It's A Wonderful Life.
An angel is sent from heaven to help a desperately frustrated businessman by showing him what life would have been like if he never existed.
Directed by Frank Capra, who Jacob would marry if he was already
totally
married.
would.
Yeah.
Directed It Happened One Night, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, a ton of these. And starring James Stewart, Donna Reed, and Lyle Barrymore. This one had a budget of $3.1 million. Want to guess how
That's a
much it
lot
made?
for back then.
I wonder how much it's made.
How much it made at the
lifetime.
box office?
Who knows?
$3.3 million.
Oh, really?
This did not do well at the box office because it was a darker movie.
well,
Yeah,
it got
it
its
was.
money back.
The bad guy did not get his just desserts in
true.
the end, and this was just one that did not resonate with people.
It's too bad history
Money's at
hasn't
Bill's
looked on
house.
it more favorably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. Whatever happened to this movie?
Yeah, who knows?
This is actually based on The Greatest Gift, which is a story written by Philip Van Doren Stern in November 1939. He tried to get the story published. No one wanted it. So he made it into some Christmas card and mailed it to 200 family and friends in December of 1943. Oh. And then the director got wind of this and
Yeah.
said, what's this? And so then he brought it up. What's this? What's this?
Jake, if you had the chance to have a meal with Jimmy Stewart or Frank Capra, who would you choose?
Frank Capra.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, because you love him so
This
much.
was also this was filmed during like the summer months. This was
Yeah.
April to July, and I was like, that's just insane because every time I see this movie, I'm like, they look so cold.
Yeah.
but they're not.
This really is such a great movie, and there's so much going on here.
But
There it
guys, I hesitate to bring this up.
Okay.
Because I know how much this will affect your opinion of it.
Oh, no.
Bedford Falls, the set that they created, is on this huge backlot of this ranch. And it's the same film set that was originally designed for the 1931 epic film Cimarron.
Oh,
kidding.
no. Tier 3.
All right, that ruins it.
Also, another
For
fun
the record,
fact.
the Cimarron's the best picture winner that none of us liked, and it's probably the worst
Yes.
one we all watched.
It probably was.
Jimmy Stewart was so nervous about the phone scene kiss because it was his first on-screen kiss since his return to Hollywood after the war. Isn't he such a sweetheart?
He is.
My goodness. So
It's kind of a weird kiss, too. It's one of
he's
those
a great
old
guy.
school kisses.
so he's it says-
violent love to me, mother.
So it says, under directors Frank Capra's watchful eye, Stewart filmed the scene in only one unrehearsed take, and it worked so well that part of the embrace was cut because it was too passionate to pass the censors.
wow,
Well,
really?
and is Donna Reed not just absolutely
Just great.
beautiful? in this
Yeah.
movie?
Yeah, she's
adorable.
charming and adorable.
and she's so like such a clever match for Jimmy Stewart, who's just kind of this goofy weirdo basically
Yes.
in this movie. And I just love this story so much.
This really is, I mean, even though Joel erased it, this is really
I
one
only
of the...
erased
the
it one time.
The sentimental, it's one of the greatest sentimental movies of all time.
Ken is the Mr. Potter of Baconsale. I just realized that.
That's not even
Mr.
true.
Potter.
Mr. Potter.
Go home to Pottersville.
That's
This
not...
whole vast configuration of things. You don't matter more than there's a scurvy little spider.
How am I Mr. Potter? You give
Because
Elf a bad grade,
You always wear that
become
blanket
Mr.
on
Potter?
your legs.
They're cold. Yeah, this is a tier 1.
So much tier 1. There's a reason this one is beloved. And it wasn't until it got heavy rotation on TV in around the 70s that it became a staple.
Can I ask you guys this? Like, Jake,
Yeah.
I know you probably grew up watching this. I resisted this because it was black and white most of my life.
What?
I saw it playing on TV every single year, and I went, I heard it's good.
You didn't grow up on this?
No, I did not.
Wow.
What?
I literally was probably 24 when I saw this movie for the first time, and I fell in love immediately when I actually sat down and paid attention.
Yeah.
Because it's dark. You like dark.
It is a little dark.
I did the same thing as a kid. I was like, what is this old thing? Why
Yeah.
do we always watch it?
Right.
And then at some point I just sat down and watched it and was like, oh,
Captivated.
wow. You know, like,
Yes.
yeah, this is...
I watched this every time it was on.
or
This is crazy.
captivated.
Captivated. Nice. I remember we watched it so many times. We watched it like every year. And I remember my dad leaving the room one time. This is one of the funniest things because they do play it so much. Obviously,
Right.
If anything has the danger of being overplayed, it's this one. And I was trying to get my dad to come watch this movie, and I was like, "Don't you like it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I really like it. I really, really enjoyed it the first 50 times I saw it."
It's so true.
By the way, fellas, I wanted to mention that this was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, but was beat by Best Years of Our Lives each time.
Oh man,
Which one is Best Years of Our Lives
That's the
again?
war
That's
one.
the post-war one. It's good.
Oh, I do like
It
that
is
movie.
good.
But that's the
But-
thing. Like they pulled this one back to get it so they can make it eligible for the 1946
Yeah.
Oscars, and it lost the
that stinks.
the Best Years of Our Lives. If they would have gone the year after, it would have been against Gentleman's Agreement
and they totally
that's
would have
true.
taken that
and against Miracle on
surely.
34th Street.
Yeah, it would have beat it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
So
too.
we can all agree, tier 1.
So tier 1, top
one.
tier. Would you say this is your top tier?
Yes.
Your best one on here.
Yes.
Okay.
This one is still good. Like,
Oh, it's great.
I think maybe this has gotten hyped up too much, and I watched it a couple of years ago, and still just holds up.
Honestly, if I'm going to go top 3, it would be It's a Wonderful Life, probably Home Alone, and then Grinch.
Are we doing this?
I'm doing it.
Well, It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone. Oh man, maybe Love Actually. For
Okay.
me.
That's fair.
Bottom has got to be Family Stone easily for
Yeah,
me.
it's so bad.
I hate that one.
Man, we all have the same number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. I
Oh,
would.
Number for Christmas might be up there too. I want to give them all tier ones,
Nightmare.
except for Family Stone.
Rudolph would have to be up there too. And you know what? Just for nostalgia, it might be Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, Christmas
Okay.
Story too.
There's too many. Okay.
Okay, we're getting into it.
Yes.
But here's the deal. We know that we left out some Christmas movies. In fact, one my wife mentioned to me, like as I was about to go out the door, I was like, "Oh yeah, we didn't even include that one."
This is on purpose, everybody.
right, because what we want you to do is we want you to go to Twitter, we want you to go to Facebook, we want to go to Instagram, and we want you to let us know the name of a Christmas movie you would like us to tier. And we are going to tier them on social media for you, the ones we left out.
Okay, sounds good.
If we didn't include these, or if you just want us to be sure on some of these, let us know and we'll tier them again.
And also, listener, we are going to be, if you are a patron or would like to sign up to be a patron, we're going to list a whole set of recommended or Baconsale approved, as we call it, Christmas movies. We did this for Halloween movies.
It was a lot of fun.
It was tons of fun, and a lot of people were, I think, pretty grateful to be able to go on and be like, oh, we need to watch a Christmas movie. Let's see what's Baconsale approved, and we're going to do it with Christmas movies as well. So this holiday season, when you're looking for a Christmas movie, you sign up to be a patron, and patreon.com/Baconsale, and we're going to have a list there, a little spreadsheet, and you can click on. It's very user-friendly, and see what Christmas movies you have not seen, but that we have already approved for you.
Also, once again, write a review and send us a screenshot, and you could win something at the end of December.
Yep.
Anything you want.
Yes.
From our store.
But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter or Performing with Quickwits. They perform every Saturday night at the Midville Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
You can find me on Twitter as well, at Jacob A. Rogers. And don't forget to follow Baconsale, at Baconsale, on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep. So until next time. Look, Kenny, Jacob says that every time a film is tiered, an angel gets its wings. Moment of silence for my microphone. I said silence!
Got him in the nards.
It's so Christmassy. That's my tier 1 Christmas movie. I will get stabbed.
In fact, the naked guy on the horse while you were sleeping from 1995.
What year was this made? Oh, 1995.
I'm glad Kent is paying attention. Coral. Was that a half-hearted almost high five you guys just did?
Yes. We'll boop next time.
Okay, let's not.
Do that noise again.
It's the Raw Show, where you get to hear Jacob go get another drink.
Ooh.
DuckTales.
Ooh.
It might go an hour and a half. What, like every show this season?
Every single episode.
Jacob is a strong, independent woman who doesn't need no man.
Heartless. I'll be your big spoon.
Okay. You'll finally be Big Spoon?
Yes.
After all this time?
After
all this begging?
You know I can't smile.
All right.
He
We
always
need to
makes
move
me
on.
be a Big Spoon.
Okay, earmuffs, kids.
Let's hear that one more time, Kent.
Once I am angry and confused by this, Mom and Dad. Why did you make me watch this movie?
Is it the hoofer? Do you hate the hoofer?
I hate the hoofer.
You hate the
I like
hoofer.
the crooner. I don't like the hoofer.
Hey, finger boop.
Finger poop. Oh, nailed it. I had to turn off my Kent brain for this one.
Would you rather watch The Family Stone or pass a kidney stone? I wanted to poke my freaking eyes out. We'll be back in the wobble of a reindeer's buttocks.